We watch anime.
We watch anime with third-degree burns.
Oh, yes. Bird really fucking burned his leg badly last week.
Right, the day after we did the podcast, I made burgers, which many people are calling the best burgers they've ever had in their life.
I mean, I've said it every time I've eaten one of your burgers. We've been all over the country eating burgers. Nothing is as good as your burgers that I've had.
But unfortunately, when you're in a hotel without a kitchen, you have to cook outside, and so I was using my Coleman stove to do this, just kind of sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground with, shorts and a shirt, because it's hot.
I think you tweeted a picture of yourself, right? Like on the ground?
I may have. But anyway, I got done with the first round of burgers. I forgot to take the fat out of the pan. And then I put in the next round of burgers, and the first one just kind of splashed grease all over my leg.
Yeah.
It really hurt, and it has not stopped hurting. In fact,
gruesome.
About 10 minutes before we started this podcast, I got up from the chair I'm sitting in, which has some wood accenting, and I scraped some of it off. Which was really, really painful. But, and also because it's been so hot and humid in Tulsa, it's been melting, which is interesting.
Oh, God.
I didn't know that could happen.
It's like
but anyway,
thing on your leg.
Enough gore.
Yeah, well, this week of anime was actually pretty good.
I was pretty happy with a lot of it.
This was one of the least painful experiences we've had catching up on all of the shows for a week, because, again, there were only 8 episodes. We didn't realize that Boku no Kokoro Yabai Yatsu, or The Dangers in My Heart,
was
ended last week.
And you were really mean about it, too.
So I was really harsh on that episode because I thought there was going to be another one, and that like we were just getting buried in like these identical cutesy episodes that didn't feel that like, not that they didn't feel earned, but that like I don't know, I know the show keeps going, like I know the manga keeps going, so like it felt like it was spinning its wheels and not really advancing, and then to realize it was the last episode, I was like, okay, well I get why they just wanted to end it on a sweet note, especially if the anime doesn't continue. I have no idea how popular it was.
I don't know that I actually hope it continues.
I don't really want to have to watch more of it. Ultimately I gave it a 6 out of 10 on my anime list, but it's like a strong 6, light 7.
Yeah.
It has moments that are funny and moments that are cute. It's just kind of very banal
and repetitive.
Like, I've seen a lot of fucking romantic comedy anime that are very similar and are much more interesting.
I guess part of why I like it so much is that, like, this is the first season of anime where I've gotten into this kind of show with Skip and Loafer and Dangers in My Heart. Yeah. And Skip and Loafer is just so much better, which, also should get a second season.
Skip and Loafer, we'll get into it because we're going to talk about the finale of the show this season at least, but, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any kind of announcement or talk of a second season. Somebody in the chat let us know if you know. But it's like a show that I gave it... I ultimately... I think I raised my score to a 9 on Mal. Initially, I was going to give it an 8. But, like, it's a show that has the potential to be a 10 out of 10 if the story kept going. Because while it has lots of satisfying arcs and it ends on a really great episode that we'll talk about... I want more, and like I feel the opposite about, say, Magical Destroyers, which ends in a confusing way.
So it actually left. We'll get into it more, but that show left me wanting a second season of it because it's like, oh, it finally makes sense as to what the fuck is happening here.
I don't know. It would have to. I would want them to wait a long time, like until they've really advanced. Until the writers, the people creating the show have made a lot more progress in having experience with this kind of stuff, because it just felt so undercooked. Again, we're going to talk about all this. Dumb username with Australian $2 said, weekly reminder to check out the show Cyber 6. I can't remember what that is.
Here you go.
Cyber 6. Oh, yeah. This
it looks cool.
Neat.
I like the hat. Oh, it's a witch thing.
When is this, 1999?
Yeah. A female android battles her evil creator's forces as a mysterious superhero. 1 season.
Oh, 1 season. Yeah, I can
Cartoon
do that.
Network.
One day I'll have time to watch anything that's not the exact number of anime that I'm covering on a podcast. I wanted to play Pikmin today. All I really wanted to do was buy and play Pikmin 1 and 2 on the Switch. But
someone didn't charge our Switches.
I had to watch all these anime, but again, it wasn't really painful this week. Some of these finales were pretty strong. Some of the just regular episodes were really strong. I only think there was like 2 or 3 shows, only 2 I can think of that sucked. And they usually suck.
Yeah.
Oshi no Ko, Dead Mount Death Play.
Dead Mount Death Play was setting up for potentially a very interesting final episode.
It could have a good end of season, and that one actually we know is going to have a second season in the fall. So we'll probably end up. Yeah, it's like it was always planned as a 2-part thing.
I see. Maybe it will be good. Real quick before we jump in, we are drinking American Solera's Piquette, which is a sparkling red wine blend. It's fine, I've never had sparkling wine before, but,
Bee and bird, birds and the bees. It's the bird and the bees show. This is the show where we go specifically by bird and bee. That's how we're listed on Patreon and on back.by. We have to shout out our Patreon.
Ooh, you didn't pull it up. Ooh, you didn't have it ready.
I knew there was something I was forgetting. I was like, this show can't be as simple as I think it is. There must be some step in this process that I've skipped over. Well, I have to wait for that to load because I don't know why it's Patreon slow. Obviously, we all know that True Fox 1 is our $10 back.by backer.
Which everyone should be a lot more like True Fox 1. Back.by takes less of our money, and we can never be banned from it.
Yes,
if you were a content creator,
literally own our instance of it.
If you're a content creator, I am hereby bullying you into joining Backed.by.
Yes, Back.by, created by our friend Dick Masterson, who has his own podcast, and he is extremely dedicated to creating something that nobody could ever be banned from, even by himself.
Or God.
And just like literally mechanically, he can't ban you. Like the way the site works, it's impossible. So anyway, we're going to look up our $10 thank you patrons, who include Devin Hall. I believe that is the most recent new patron we've got.
I believe so. They subscribed for a year, which is very nice of them.
Yes, when you get a 16% discount if you just pay for a whole year at once at any tier. So that makes it pretty evenly. So the $5 tier is $50 a year, and the $10 tier is $100 a year, which I think is pretty convenient. So yeah, happy to offer that benefit. And next up, Last Isis, or was it Essis? That was the correction, right? Japanese style. Last Essis. M2, Hidden Music Island, Anathemi Bedesu, Susu 2, and Zero Tsun Game. Yeah, that's everybody. So thank you to all of our patrons. And of course, the bonus episode. We have been trying to get a Cyberpunk Edgerunners bonus episode recorded this month, all month. We still have a couple episodes left to watch in the show. Might be doable this weekend, maybe. It's hard to say. We're trying to get it out, obviously, before the end of the month. But we already had a Bocchi the Rock episode last month that if you sign up for our Patreon now, you can get access to. It's 5.5 hours long. And it's pretty fucking funny. All right, let's talk about the new episodes of these shows. We have the season finale of
Heavenly Delusion. Last episode was pretty depressing. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really like how it made me feel.
This episode
it's less depressing.
It's kind of like, I have torn feelings about this episode because on the one hand, the last one left me feeling so desolated, I guess. Desolate? Just hollow.
Desecrated?
Sure. That this episode kind of being like a pick me up or like a deliberate vengeance for the previous episode. It almost feels like getting off easy a little bit. It's like
I think that's a little inappropriate given the content of the last episode.
Jesus Christ. The air is so hot it's hard to breathe. So in the last episode, the kids in the facility basically have to leave because it's falling apart, and they go to the outside of the outside. And they are just conceptualizing this basically as, well, it's just stages, more and more stages of outside, right? Like
the outside of 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 the outside, which is the inside of the outside of the outside of the outside.
But like they don't really conceive of the fact that outside of the facility is literally not controlled by those people. Like there's nothing.
Their whole world has been up until this point.
Yeah.
Why would the rest of it not be?
They're like walking around going like, why would they make it so hot? Like why would, because they think that this is just
because they've been
test.
in climate control the whole time too.
And they've been told that there was a test coming up like this day, you know, so they're just like, okay, this is what it is. I guess we just go out into this wilderness. And then the group ends up splitting, where the two darker haired kids are like, we're gonna keep exploring, and Mimi Hime and Shiro. Who whether we have been revealed this explicitly or not, you mentioned in the previous episode.
Mimi Hime is the girl who's covered in bandages and doesn't have any limbs, and
Yes.
Shiro is the doctor who shoots himself.
Yes, and we had just thought at the time that it was his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, so, because the
But it
show's pretty
turns
vague
out
about
they're
it.
in love, or he's in love, or something.
Yeah, and I think it almost, I think they did suggest that in the final dialogue, but I just took it as like, you know, a parental love, I guess.
Sure.
But in this case, it's.
But now we know how significant
I think it's just because I had conceived of the Doctor as being old because he has gray hair. But when we know that he's just always had gray hair, then it makes you realize he wasn't necessarily that much older. And the girl, you assume, is younger because she looks small because she has no fucking limbs. And, you know, it's just interesting because the show's always changing your perceptions, your expectations, flipping things on its head and making you question shit. And the more details you uncover, the more you both understand, and also it just like multiplies the effect of like, but wait, so that means that this happened too, and it's intense. I took this screen cap in particular because this is exactly the Tulsa experience we're having. The air is so hot it's hard to breathe.
So we're in the room with Dr. Man with the glasses, and he's like, people come in, and he basically just starts screaming like, "I didn't mix them up. I would never mix them up. I know exactly who these babies are."
Babies, but they want to give I assume what they think is the real baby. One of them's like a clone, right? What makes the two babies different exactly? Do you know?
One is a clone. I believe that is it. I think just
Okay.
one's a clone because you know, the old lady wants to be in the clone or something. Or the real one, I don't remember if we really figured that out yet.
So the guy has mixed up the babies. I mean, dramatic irony points to the idea that the one they gave to Tokyo is probably the clone, right? And that's Maru.
Well,
I think
so I don't know, because like
he wrote 0 on one of them's foot, which is Maru. So that one's probably Maru.
Okay.
Unless that's a subversion too, and he just heard about it from the other one or something. Like there's
Maybe
a lot
he
that
just
could
did
be
that
fucked
to like support his story of like, hey, I totally know who the difference are. Look, this one has a 0.
Dumb username said the dude in pink looks like a Katsuhiro Otomo character. Highly agree. He looks kind of like the dude from his Neo Tokyo short, but like if he got fatter and taller. Anyway, so they're trying to return the baby, and also the woman in the suit, I don't remember her name, she has like some kind of plan. She gives it a silly name of how they're going to rescue all of the kids. So she seems to still think like, hey, we're gonna go save them fucking kids. None of this
How
can
do
end
I
well.
reach these kids?
We know factually that none of this can end well. So it's always like just kind of like this whole show is like moments before disaster, like you know, memes one after another.
So we cut to Maru
man.
back in the future, and he's just, it's been 2 days, we learned, since he
Yeah.
last saw Kiriko, and he's just kind of depressed. He's like, where my sis at?
Well, because he's reasoning through it in his mind where he's like, look, if I met somebody that I hadn't seen in a long time, who I was really close with, I probably would talk to them all night. We'd probably keep chatting through them next morning. But for her to be gone for 2 nights...
She's my bodyguard, you know?
Like,
She's forgetting what she's
without
doing.
saying anything, it's just a little bit much.
So he goes to the filtration plant. And
it's aching because you're like, yeah, all of that is reasonable logic, but man,
shouldn't you have checked on her a little
probably
earlier?
Shouldn't have let her go alone. You just shouldn't have let her go alone. He's just, you know, he I don't know, he wasn't thinking about her safety because she's the one he considers stronger, and she was reassuring him like, hey, you know, I'll be fine. But it's like, no, you need to protect each other. You both, like, you can't have one person go off with some fucking stranger, you know, like, in this world, you need to have somebody watching your back.
It's the buddy system.
Yeah.
Just always be around a buddy. Or two buddies. I feel better with, like, a group, usually.
Big buddy.
Big buddy. I'm the big buddy.
So, this is...
So, the filtration plant, there are these two guards out there, and we learned that, in fact, yes, Robin was hooking up with whatever
with
her
Kiriko.
And so you know, basically Maru's like, hey, she's been here for 2 days, I need to go see her, and they go get permission from the bureau or whatever, and he just kind of kicks their ass immediately. We get to see a lot of Maru kicking ass in this episode, which I don't think we've really seen at all.
Pretty much right from this moment, he understands the situation, like, oh, this guy's been dragging my girlfriend around this facility and telling people that he's got his old fuck buddy back. I immediately understand the situation implicitly, and he just starts beating everyone's ass.
Yeah. And
so this is where I can't help but think, anytime I see like any sort of rape revenge plot line, I think about Gaspar Noé. We recently watched his movie Climax.
We watched Climax. It was pretty terrifying.
His movie Irreversible is a lot harder to stomach. I have never been able to watch the whole movie. I've seen both the start and the end, and I've been told about the middle. But it just opens with a guy like storming a club, or it starts with a dude in prison, and he's having a conversation, and then it cuts to in a club. He's just beating a guy to fucking death with a fire extinguisher, and like the lights are dizzying, and it's fucked up, and you're just like, what is going on? This is just violence and madness. And as the movie is told in reverse chronology, and eventually you learn that the guy's girlfriend got raped at this party, and so the guy who he beat to death was the rapist.
Yep.
And then at the end of the movie, you like see them just having their nice cute relationship, and learn that she was pregnant on top of everything.
That's no good.
If the movie was told forwards, then you would have a situation where you have this cute couple, the girl gets raped, and the guy beats the other guy to death, and the audience is satisfied at the end that justice was served. But that's the opposite. And when you're watching the movie, you don't know why the guy's beating the guy to death. It just feels like shit. The whole thing feels like shit. The cute moments feel like shit because you know what happens to them afterwards. So the whole fucking thing feels like shit. This show, it feels good to watch Maru beat up all these fucking assholes and this rapist.
What else? Like, he's not really like beating up the regular guys. He just kind of throws the first two into a river, and then he just kind of like shoves away the other two. I mean, they're knocked out, but they're not like dead.
No, I mean, yeah, he's not literally like murdering everybody, but it's just it feels like after the last episode, after that emotional devastation, this is like, it's like, all right, yeah, like, fuck yeah, kick their asses, Maru, like, yeah, get them, because, I mean, you hate all these people, and, like, I don't necessarily feel bad being gratified by watching a rapist get the shit beat out of him.
No, not at all. It's a very satisfying scene.
It is satisfying, and I guess I put this in the category of guilty pleasure. And I'm gonna use Ghost Lightning's definition, because he was always arguing you shouldn't feel guilty about liking something that's supposedly bad, because standards don't really exist. Nobody can tell you what's good or bad. But what you can feel guilty about is like enjoying things that are morally wrong that feel good. And he used some examples from Code Geass of like watching Lelouch like do things that like are like, you know, he's doing bad guy shit.
Yeah, no,
for
he's
good reasons.
Objectively, the bad guy.
Yeah, but still, also like you want to see him win because you back his cause, and like in this case, I feel like that sense of, you know, like I don't feel like it doesn't make me feel better about the fact that what happened to see this like
no, it's vengeance. Still, I know it's a very accurate portrayal of trauma.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as fucking dumb username, justice served, but the victim still lives with the trauma. Yeah, exactly. So this scene you have cut right here is
well, this scene really struck me.
And people say I interrupt you.
Sorry. Yeah,
no, it's okay. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just looked at the screen and I was consumed by the image because this is one of those scenes that like really stuck out to me because we've been dealing with this gender question throughout a lot of this show. One of the first things we learned about, she does go by Kiruko, right?
Kiruko, yes.
Okay, so it was originally Kiriko was the girl.
Yeah, the brother was Kiruko. Something with a U in it, I guess. So,
Kiruko has always been like halfway convinced. Like I was originally a boy. I was the younger brother of Kiriko. And then she died, and my brain was put into her body, and now that's just what I've been dealing with.
But so most of his memory, or her, whatever, their memories are the boys. And so in this scene, what has triggered this weird, weird dream kind of sequence is that she has a memory that her sister had.
Yeah. Suddenly, one of Kiriko's memories enters Kiruko's mind, and the reaction is like, this must be something that the body remembers. And like I don't know a like unpretentious way to say that I read a lot of stuff about psychology, but like what interests
I'm an armchair psychologist.
I'm an armchair psychologist, and one of the things that intrigues me the most about psychology is how much of it is not in your brain, how much of it is in your guts, in your like body, in the way that you feel about your body. And like, you know, obviously for me as a trans person, like it makes a massive amount of difference how I present myself to how I feel inside, and that affects like all of my abilities. You know, my entire ability to operate as a human being is largely dependent on how I feel about my body. So like this show, the commentary it has on like the difficulty of like feeling like your mind and body aren't matching, but at the same time are synchronizing in certain ways. And there's certain stuff that you know or you remember in more of a physical sense, you know. And like for me, as somebody who spent a long time like not taking care of my body and now kind of am necessarily just by way of like doing a highly physical job, like I'm learning exactly what that means. Is like, my muscles remember things, like literal muscle memory. If somebody else's brain was put in my body, they'd know how to do my job implicitly because my body knows how to do the job. It's not my brain. My brain can be totally fucking disengaged from the job while I'm doing it, because it's so easy for me to do physically, you know?
Sure.
And so, like, yeah, this show, like it's diving into that idea that like, you know, having this traumatic event that happened that is connecting to the body's remembered trauma of, you know, this having happened before, it causes you know, Kiruko to understand like the expressions that she saw on the guys' faces differently. Robin's face, like when they first, you know, encountered each other, and it's just like this mix of memories of Kiriko from the, you know, original brother's perspective, but also now memories that Kiriko only could have had
without her brother being there.
Right.
I think specifically what it is,
understanding that Kiriko now has.
Specifically, the memory is like Robin and her are hooking up, and he goes like, "Oh no, whatever the fuck the younger
he's
brother.
Just like sleeping next to them,
below them, I think is what it is."
Yeah, and that's how he knows like, oh, this can't be one of my memories because I'm in it, you know. And yeah, it's basically like her getting taken advantage of right next to where the brother is sleeping. Pretty fucked up. But the most interesting part of this scene is that realizing that they are sort of combining, Kiruko says, that would be great. I'd love if me and my sister are becoming one because it means that she's still alive in some way. Like, through Kiruko's existence, which, Kiriko is still there.
I don't actually know if this is the case, but knowing this show, She probably is, in like
Yeah.
some weird robot body or something.
I mean, yeah, her brain literally might be around somewhere, and that would introduce all kinds of complications of its own. But like the body, like the relationship that the brain now has with the body is one where they are becoming as one, and to such an extent that it's affecting the literal ability to remember like images.
Well, it's kind of like the opposite of what happens in an organ transplant, which is like the body tends to reject foreign body or organs or whatever. It's for some reason Kiriko's body is accepting the brain, which is cool. It's all right.
The better relationship they have, the more that
more comfortability they have in their body.
And so I love this scene because Kiruko's literally tied up in bed, and like the scene starts just like
very bleak.
Stark, bleak. She's got the scars all over her body,
which Robin did not inflict. She just has those from the go-kart accident.
Kiruko is like just curled up on the bed in like this dark, dank looking fucking like warehouse room. There's spider webs in the corner, and there's one shot where it's like framed through the web onto the bed. It's just like you're trapped, you're fucked, right? But in this moment of connecting with like realizing, oh, I might be more one with my sister than I thought.
She says something like, "I just want to follow orders like Mahou."
Yeah, I just want to follow orders, and also. But that comes like right after just this moment where the blanket looks like a dress. Like you see this shifting, like the shot.
It is really cool.
It's an animation where it's like it starts looking like a blanket, but as she curls up, it starts to form to the body in a way that makes it look more like a dress. Like this is literally a moment of accepting the feminine gender on the part of Kiruko. Like, I want to be my sister so that she can still be alive with me, But ultimately the thought she comes to is, I just want to follow orders, which maybe is how Kiriko had felt about that relationship. Robin. Of like, well, I don't want to piss him off, I don't want to get my ass kicked or whatever, I'm just gonna do what he says, and maybe he'll be less rough with me or whatever.
More like Inazaki robbing her virginity and innocence.
Jesus Christ. I forgot to mention on the last episode that Robin is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Kazuya Nakai.
That's Dio, right?
No.
I know him.
He plays the mayonnaise obsessed samurai in
you've told me I'm like him quite often.
Because you became, as soon as you started eating Kewpie mayo, you were just like slamming massive amounts of Kewpie mayo on everything. That's
it's
literally
really
what
good.
Hijikata does.
I made ranch with Kewpie mayo, and it was pretty sweet.
I wish we had Kewpie right now. We should have brought it with us.
We should have just bought Kewpie. I just don't think we're gonna find it in this area of the country.
Yeah.
The grocery store we went to today was like the rinky-dinkiest.
We should have gone to that Asian grocery store in like whatever the last town we were in.
You're right. We should have.
Shit, I don't remember what that fucking town was called. Where were we last?
Springfield?
Springfield. That's the one. There was a big Asian grocery store there. Anyway, this was a great fucking scene. Just all kinds of complicated emotions. And, all of that is while Kiruko is in the mindset that, like, I'm still stuck here. We, of course, dramatically know that Maru is already on the way to save her. So it's like, it's interesting that that scene is put in between, like, knowing Maru is coming and then Maru beating the shit out of this guy, because, like, it's just an interesting peek into, like, what the situation was doing to her, psychologically, which could have gotten much worse if it had continued. But luckily, Maru shows up right as Robin is coming to the room with coffee. Just kind of fucking pulls him aside and throws him into the corner. Well, he chases him because Robin sees the guy and immediately runs. And then, he chases him into a corner. And every time Robin tries to get past him, he just grabs him by the jacket and throws him back into the corner. So he's just kind of toying with them, not really sure what to do. Like, he's just so pissed off.
It is incredibly satisfying to watch this grown man try to run away from a child and just be thrown back over and over and over again until, the obligatory beating the shit out of him happens. He might die. It doesn't really show.
I think basically Maru knew that at some, like, if he kept this guy in the corner, the guy was eventually going to attack him. Like, just he could sense that, like, hey, if I'm not going to let you escape, you're probably going to give me probable cause to beat the fucking death out of you. And he does. the guy, swings, and Maru just
lays him out immediately. He's knocked out. He can't do anything.
Well,
He's on the ground.
He hits him so hard that he his head hits
is
the
bleeding.
fucking wall, and he just slumps over bleeding, and then he picks him up by the collar and just starts beating the fuck out of him. Again, pretty satisfying, pretty fun to watch. Not gonna lie.
And then
Guilty
we
pleasure.
cut back to the school again, and
Violence is bad, but beating up pedophiles is good. I don't know.
Anyway, so then we cut back. I mean, that is all true. But we cut back to the school, and they basically are trying to get into Tokyo's room. They're not succeeding. Dr. Man comes up and goes, "Hey, Tokyo, it's me. I'm opening the door." And he opens the door. And then he goes in and goes, "Hey, Tokyo, so here's the problem. Or not the problem, but here's the real facts, the true facts. This is your baby. This came out of you." And she goes, "Oh, that's the thing you removed from me." And it's like, yes, that is just what he said. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so then, I don't remember is his name Kuna? The other guy? The guy that's the father? Anyway, they go, "Oh, we need to tell him about this." And then, crazy millionaire old lady is alive.
The old bitch is still alive. And she's still running around.
And everyone, again, goes, "You can walk?"
I love that she's in just a cat suit or something. Like she's underneath all the clothes she was wearing, she's this super skinny, weird, actually nimble. She totally was in a performance. Wasn't just capable of walking. Totally capable of running around
fit.
And not a problem.
But so anyway, she comes in the room and basically goes, "Hey, give me that baby. Give me that."
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
So pretty much everyone in the room goes, "No, why would we do that? That doesn't make any sense." And then the crazy old lady says to the robot, "Hey, give me that baby. Go get that baby for me." And the robot starts to do it, and Tokyo uses her power, which I don't think we've
She's
seen
immediately
before.
"Wait, this is mine." It's funny because she didn't really seem to understand what the baby was up until this point. She didn't seem to have any strong feelings about it. But after being given the baby, she's like, absolutely, you're not fucking taking this thing from me. And then she starts I don't know, exuding red goo that comes out of all the walls around her and shit. And when the old lady,
it's kind of like Annie in Attack on Titan, except I'm sorry, not Annie, the Sledgehammer Titan, the one who can foist weird bone shit that he fights. Or rather, she fights Eren in the beginning of the fourth season.
Yeah, okay.
The one who has white armor.
Yeah.
So basically, it's kind of like a manifestation of blood. It's not really explained, but as she's doing that, the old woman goes insane and grabs onto her and becomes enveloped in the red goo.
Yeah. So that scene didn't really have an ending.
No, we didn't really get a resolution to that.
Okay.
It's pretty much just hey, the old bitch is in goo.
Yeah.
This is really cute. So Mimihime and Shiro are walking around the woods, and they're basically just going in the same direction, thinking, well, eventually we have to get back to the fence, and then we can just follow our way back along the fence. That doesn't work, so eventually they find themselves next to a river, which is a landmark other than trees, I think is what they say.
It's just really interesting, how small the kids' conception of the world is, where they're well, this, how big could this forest be?
Pretty big, turns out. Pretty large. The world
planet,
is a big place.
Compared to a little facility, at least.
But so they see the river. Mimihime is standing on the edge, and the edge breaks off. And Shiro, in a superhuman feat of strength. And to this point, we haven't actually seen if Shiro has, a power or anything. But anyway, he grabs her and takes the fall for her. And she goes, "You idiot. Why did you just do that?" And he goes, "Well, I'm just in love with you."
Yeah.
And she gives him a button off of her uniform. Is that a thing?
It is. In Japan, I don't know why these kids would have a conception of this, but it just so happens that, on the last day of middle or high school, they'll take, basically, if a guy knows that a girl likes him, they acknowledge it by giving her the second button on the uniform, hey,
it was
we'll meet
I
again.
guess, yeah, it was
I think that's how it works.
Anyway,
It's a weird
Mimihime
tradition.
gives Shiro her button, and that's pretty much all we get to see of them, I think. I think they... Oh, no, well, later.
Shiro, I like that he was... Before he says, "I love you," he's he keeps trying to reason through, he keeps trying to come up with reasons of why he did the thing other than that, but then he's like, "Nah, that's not it. Maybe it's this. Nah, I just love you, and I thought that was
very cute.
Fun.
I love these people. I wish we hadn't watched them both die already.
Yeah, in such a horrific and tragic way also. So and it's also just like you're waiting to see how Mimi like the fact that they're continuing their story in the past means that we're gonna see how she lost all her fucking limbs. That's gonna be a real riot. So yeah, this is the scene where Kiriko is obviously, you know, crying by the riverside and just kind of like, wow, fucking, I can't believe all of that, you know?
You know, it's just like Matt Foley, motivational speaker, used to say, if you don't do your homework, if you don't let an old woman grow into your body, if you don't do all of your responsibilities as an adult, you're going to be living in a van down by the river. Now, you can't see the van in this shot, but we do know they have a van and they are near a river, so that joke feels justified to me.
It's true.
I hope Matt Foley was his name. I can't remember.
I think that sounds right.
Anyway, so this scene is basically Maru going, hey, you take care of me. I want to take care of you. We've got to do it together. We can't like have a bodyguard relationship anymore. We're each other's bodyguards. We're hanging out for each other. That's what we're doing.
Well, and I like also that it's sort of a long conversation they have, but there's a point where I guess she brings up not being sure about like the identity, like who the fuck am I? You know, I thought of myself as the little brother, and now I'm like confused. And Maru's just like, look, I'm attracted to women, and I'm attracted to you. So, from my perspective, you're basically a woman.
He also says, like, I've seen pictures of Kiriko. I would not be attracted to her.
Yeah, so his perspective is, Kiriko doesn't seem like my type. You as a boy doesn't seem like my type, but what you currently are is my type. So I don't really give a fuck whatever you're thinking about or whatever it means to you. To me, I just really like you. And then he lists off like all the things he likes about her. Like, look, you know how to cook, you are smart and like have survival instincts, you know how to drive, like
you're supposed to be listing the things off Maru says about Kiriko, not things you like about me.
Look, maybe I've given a similar speech before about all the things I like about my partner, so I thought this was really touching. But
it is a very cute scene. I liked it a lot. Oh, also, real quick, we're not talking about it, but Season 1, Episode 8 of Hell of a Boss dropped today. I'm pretty sure it had been missing for quite a few years. I don't know if it had ever actually been released before, but I watched it. It was really good. Had me on the verge of tears. Check it out.
Nice.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, basically the end of this episode, Kiriko and Maru just sort of drive off in the van. She's like, I can't be depressed forever. We got to keep moving. Unbelievably strong mindset, but I guess she's been living in this hellhole for quite some time. Meanwhile, back at that facility,
there's one locked door.
Yeah, everybody cleared out, and like an investigative group comes to figure out what the fuck was going on. They're just like, they see coffee stains, they see blood stains, and then they open a door, and there is a dead woman hooked up to a man-eater.
Which kid do you think this is?
No idea. I wouldn't be able to figure any of that out because I have not. I mean, look, this is definitely a show that is worth going back through. I think it's got. Obviously, if there's not a second season, never fucking watch this. You'll just ruin your afternoon. But if it gets more, it will be, or if they, announce more. I don't know if it's already been announced. If they are announcing more of this show, then it would be worth watching the first season multiple times to make sure that you have the best understanding you can of what's going on before you go forward. Because even though it does answer lots of questions, also a lot of those answers can just be surmised by looking back through it, So I thought this was a really strong season. Ultimately, I would give it like a strong 8 to a light 9. For me, it's more of an 8 out of 10 because, I don't know. It's a contender. I feel
think
like
it's a 9. I would give it a 9.
I think I just need it to go. I need more of it before I can really feel emotionally.
It's probably
attached.
why I give it a 9 is because I do know where it goes.
And I feel like I'm gonna say this about a number of shows this season where, where like I want it to be a 9 or a 10, but it's just not there yet, and I don't know if I'm this show I'm probably getting more of. Production IG, pretty reliable to do multiple seasons.
Real quick, someone had said, I don't think this woman was in the school. I was not implying that the woman was one of the kids. I was implying that the man-eater is one of the kids.
The man-eaters are
because the man-eaters are all the kids.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, so that's, they creep towards it, and then it jumps towards them, and they lock the door immediately and go like, oh, fuck, what do we do?
Yeah. And there's also a final shot of, like, a bunch of the surviving kids just, like, on a speedboat to a city.
To a city, like a real city.
No idea what that was about. So, yeah, that's, again, there's just so much mystery still left. Like, I think this show, I guess I probably could raise my score to a 9. I think I gave it an 8 on Mal, because I'm confident it will stay good, and, like, what we got was really good. It's just that, like, if it ended here, I wouldn't be able to give it above an 8. If I knew there was not going to be more. And obviously the manga is complete, and you can just go read that. Or is it complete?
It's not complete.
Not
I don't
complete.
believe.
Maybe they'll make the rest of it after the manga finishes or something. I don't know. Well, we'll look forward to more of that. So, Dead Mount Death Play. This show is still ongoing. There's still another episode left in this season, and it is promised to have a second season in the fall.
I really hope
we're
it,
stuck with it for
becomes
a
a
while.
real show next season.
I mean, the thing about this show is that it just takes way too fucking long to set up whatever it's doing, because it is so ridiculously, autistically detailed. And I use that word selectively because it is the particular way that this show communicates, where it feels like all of the characters are kind of just doing the same thing at the same time. Like, because the author is trying to guide the plot, he is just writing his intentions into every single character. They're all the same.
They're
like,
all working towards the exact same ends. Like,
the personality differences between them are very artificial or superficial. That's what I mean to say. Like, like you said, they're all working towards the same ends. Everybody's just trying to figure out the same fucking information right now, and it's not even really clear who you would really consider a good guy or a bad guy.
Well, I would consider the fire-breathing bugs a bad guy.
What are they doing that is so bad?
Murdering people?
But aren't they killing, like, bad people?
I mean, they're kind of just trying to kill people, right? I don't know. I don't think they're good.
They're probably not good.
I don't think Polka's brother is good.
Like, the cops initially didn't seem like good guys.
No,
but
they're
now
fine.
It feels like they're good guys.
Because, the Pen was friends with them. Whatever.
My experience having watched all of Do-Da-Da-Da, where, like, basically everybody except for Izaya is on some level justified or tried to make into a good guy by the end. Like, very few characters ever, like, die. It just becomes a bigger and bigger and more unwieldy cast and harder to keep track of what the fuck's going on. And I'm sure this show's probably going to get there, too, just based on the way it's going, because it really wants every character to be important. Everybody who it sets up has to have, like, full scenes in every episode, but they're so fucking redundant because they're all doing the same thing.
Sorry, I just googled Izaya to get a concept of who he was as a person. Yeah, he looks bad, but more importantly, he has a personal board game, which is chess, Go, Othello. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, no. It's on a Go board, and it's chess, Othello, and shogi all combined together, and that's like, wow, this guy's crazy.
Oh yeah, Izaya is one of my favorite anime characters. But
so real quick, explain all of Do-Da-Da-Da to me, and then after that, go into the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumi.
Maybe some other time.
That's the one with the headless Celtic girl, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Bakuno's like mobsters who are immortal or something.
Immortal mobsters in the 20s. Although in the light novels, the series goes for like 200 years, so you learn a lot of history of the characters. So again, this story, it's limitless how far this could go based on Ryogo Narita's imagination. It's just about the grind of getting there, especially because this is a manga adaptation, so the story is it takes a lot longer to get through all that information than it would in text form. It's just so clumsy. It's unwieldy. The opening scene is basically Phantom Solitaire, the Master Thief, is one of a group of people who are going to see the
But he's in disguise.
Yes.
He's in disguise like an old man with gray hair and glasses.
They're going to get their fortunes read at the fortune-telling shop. There's a lot of extraneous dialogue about how realistic the fucking magic... We literally know how it's done. I don't give a fuck how everyone else perceives the magic that Polka's doing. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add anything to the scene.
They're explaining the magic that Polka is doing on top of explaining the fuckery magic tricks that Phantom Solitaire is doing, because he's perfectly disguised as some guy who's, I don't know, having trouble with a submarine or something.
There's just so much.
Sorry, it's probably not a
fucking get it
submarine.
in
I
this
don't
show.
remember what it is, but submarines are on the mind.
We have another one of these scenes where, like, at the police precinct, they're literally giving a presentation, and as this guy is explaining the symbol to the other people, these two old guys are just, like, having a totally different conversation over him about how much they don't like him, like, right in front of him.
Well, it's like, oh, you're sitting around drinking coffee, doing nothing, and then he's like, I mean, you guys are griping at me right now, so you're literally doing nothing.
That happens actually a little bit. That's like after
Oh, that's
he's
after
done.
this?
That's
Oh,
after
God.
he actually gives the speech. This is like him, during him talking, like you still hear his voice over top of these two old men conversating, and I'm like, this is obnoxious. Like, this isn't something I want to watch. I don't want to listen to these old fucks gripe over the speech I already was, like, struggling to give a fuck about. Like, it's like you're admitting how boring it is. And I don't know, this whole thing was like some weird setup. I guess the point of it is, so...
It's to introduce some people, pretty much.
Introduce some characters, but also, so he's showing this symbol, which he knows is not the correct version of the symbol. There's an additional line.
And Solitaire also knows this.
Yes.
That was the point of putting it on the balloon, is to have anyone come and contact him to go like, hey, that's wrong.
Exactly. So the police know that the symbol is wrong, and they're showing it to everybody in the room to try to figure out if any of them are going to point out that there's something wrong with it. None of them do. So this is fucking just a totally pointless exercise full of boring, obnoxious dialogue and characters that meant nothing. Meanwhile,
In the Batcave.
Phantom Solitaire in his disguise, he's so impressed with the ability to recognize what his the person he's imitating is doing, but then
he asks a question about the symbol, and Polka or whatever Corpse God basically goes, hey, it should look like this. It should not have a horizontal line.
There's also like conversations between the Pen and Polka about they're trying to figure out who all they are willing to get involved in this at all, because if him, as being supposedly Polka, gets involved, it could get the family involved, and they're trying to protect the girls in the family. So there's just a lot of dialogue about how much information they should reveal to whom, but ultimately they show Phantom Solitaire that the symbol is supposed to have a different mark. I don't think they know that it's Phantom Solitaire.
No, they don't. But right after this...
But it does seem like it's to their benefit for him to have known that, right?
Sure. But right after this, Polka says about, I think this is implying that he kind of does know it's Phantom Solitaire, or at least he's bringing up a personal aspect that could only be known if you knew he was Phantom Solitaire. And it's like, oh, was there a woman in your life with a wheelchair?
Yes.
She's really only manifesting as a wheelchair. She hasn't been around for a while. She can't speak or anything. And that just made me kind of think like, wow, this guy's whole life is my wife or daughter spent a miserable time having her life, died in a wheelchair, and so now I'm just doing silly pranks on the government. And it's like, he's like the Joker light. He's not really trying to hurt anyone.
I'm the Joker, baby! Yeah, there's a
Oh, and then right after they leave, Polka goes, oh yeah, that's weird that two people ask the same question in a row. And, the person leaving who asked the question is wearing a fire safety jacket.
Like, dude, is it not, like, at least common knowledge among people who would be looking for the fire-breathing bug that they always wear this fucking jacket? Did they want him to figure that out?
I mean, Phantom Solitaire definitely knows that. I don't think this girl was wearing it in the mind reading or whatever.
Oh, like she just put it on.
Yeah, she put it on for the rain.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Okay, so now we're getting them sitting drinking Mr. Black and getting accosted by old fucks.
Yeah. Did we drink all that wine already?
Yeah. You want a beer?
Damn, yeah, I do. You know, I feel a sense of resistance when I watch a show. I want it to earn me caring about the characters, especially if they
the only
try to
person
make
I
them...
really care about in this show is Shark Girl.
Yeah,
Shark Girl's the best.
So, like, I long ago wrote a video about this idea of aesthetic persona. The idea that, like, beyond a character being, like, deep or relatable or whatever, they just, right away, they have an aesthetic persona. You just see it and you go, I understand this guy because of how he looks, you know, especially if they're leaning in on that and trying to make something stereotypical. These characters have really strong aesthetics right away. You immediately look at them and you're like, these guys as cops, like,
I mean, they're basically the Get Backers.
If they became police, yeah, they.
Actually, one of the Get Backers is like black, isn't he?
No, they're both Japanese.
Oh, I see. Well, anyway, yeah, they've pretty much got the same, you know, general style as the Get Backers. I mean, I think the dark-haired guy even actually wears the same glasses as the dark-haired guy in the Get Backers.
That's funny. The round ones.
Yeah. The he who shall not be named glasses. I would really love to watch that show. Anyway, sorry.
What, Get Backers?
Yeah, I've only seen a couple episodes.
Yeah, we watched the first episode together, like, randomly one time.
Because I want to cosplay that Scalpel Man.
I vaguely remember.
He's just a dude who has like 10,000 scalpels sewn into his skin.
That show is probably a lot better than this one. I will say that. I mean, the first episode was really good. I used to have the first volume of the manga, and I read it a bunch of times, but I never got more of it because it was a little too perverse for me at the time.
That guy. Oh, I would definitely be a good cosplay of this guy.
Yeah,
he's a fucking murderous psycho, and he's got a cute little smile with a big hat.
Yeah, and long hair.
That falls perfectly into people I like to cosplay, like Alucard.
Yeah.
Or Grell.
That would be a good one.
That one's just, I mean, like, actually, just like this guy. Hard to put together. Tailored suit, big-ass fucking hat, glasses, I mean...
So, Baccano was not a super popular anime. Like, it didn't hit in Japan. It hit a little harder in the U.S. because it's set in New York, and they, like, gave everybody crappy New York accents in the dub. But it only ever got 16 episodes. They never made more of it. The same producers made Durarara. That show was a hit with Fujoshi, with girls who like to watch boys fuck. So, because of the fact that there were so many pretty boys in Durarara, and particularly there's a big rivalry between Izaya and Shizuo. You already looked up Izaya. Go ahead and look up Shizuo from Durarara. You'll notice that there's a little bit of a similarity in the contrasting
he
designs.
looks like the same guy.
Yeah.
And so Izaya kind of looks like this guy, too.
Exactly. So, drawing Izaya...
It's almost like this author has a type or something.
Well, a type of guy that he thinks is super badass, at the very least. So, like, in Durarara, Izaya is, like, the main bad guy. He's constantly trying to create chaos within the city because he wants to go to Valhalla. He thinks that Celti is a Valkyrie, and that she will take his soul to Valhalla if he creates enough chaos and proves himself the ultimate warrior. Shizuo is the actual ultimate warrior. He, for some reason, just is hyper strong. Like,
he's the strongest man in Ikebukuro.
Something is unlocked in him when he was a kid that made it so that he could start lifting refrigerators.
And also made it so his hair changed color.
And he is... he works for, like, a bouncer, basically, or a debt collector. So he just goes around and shakes people down for their money if they haven't paid off the debt to this guy. But he mostly...
He's Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Mostly just cares about his little brother, who's, like, a famous actor and another character in the show. And he's a very morally righteous character. So when he sees Izaya, he just wants to murder him. Izaya... is like a Looney Tunes character in his ability to escape from getting killed, but pretty much every season ends with him getting his shit rocked. Or alternatively,
he's like Phantom Solitaire in the way that he's able to escape getting his shit rocked.
Yeah, fair. So, like, I don't think that Ryogo Narita expected those two characters to be, like, pitched as a gay duo by the fans so much, but they had a ton of fan art. This cop duo is clearly
made
for the fangirls.
But they're into girls. Like they go to hookers all the time.
Oh, sure
they
are.
do. They literally
They could be into both.
You're
it
right.
Doesn't
You're right.
matter. I'm just saying.
Very close-minded of me. I apologize.
This is for the girls because I mean, look, there's tons of lesbian stuff in this show. There's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of hot chicks with big titties. There's plenty of shit for the lesbians, but they had to give something for the
Fujoshi.
The Fujoshi. I was gonna use an English phrase, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
You are not allowed to say it on YouTube.
So the Fujos. Yeah,
okay.
That's the one.
It rhymes if it helps.
It has the same amount of syllables as Fujo. The Fujos are obviously going to ship these two. I know because I'm one of them and I'm doing it right now. This was the shot. This was the moment. Look, I knew what they were trying to do with these two from the start. I was like, okay, it's the TV trope is ho yay. When there's two guys who just hang out all the time.
I mean, he got remarried. He's not a hoe.
I don't know why the trope is called a ho yay, but like, it's like Goku and Vegeta are a classic example of like bros who have like a little too intense of a relationship and care a little bit much about each other for it to really be straight. But the show never is going to make them gay. They leave that to you. This is a classic example of ho yay, hetero life partner, if you will.
Yeah.
These guys are hetero life partners, but this scene, basically on instinct, blonde guy puts a cigarette in his mouth, black guy whips out the lighter, lights the cigarette for him. Have you ever done that for somebody you weren't at least trying to fuck?
Yeah, because, you know, at events, it's really cool to pull out a Zippo.
Well, okay, at events it's different because you're doing it in front of a crowd. I mean, like, just, you know...
But was I doing that to come off cool enough to fuck? Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I had to stop carrying a Zippo around because I had to change the wick on it, and I could not figure out how to put it back together, so that personality is dead.
Yeah, I just thought this was adorable. Like, and it was the... Like, because they were eating together in the last episode, and he was doing the whole kind of like, I know you so well, I can't believe you're eating it this way instead of the norm. Like, you know, they were already doing the kind of cute date-like stuff, but this is just kind of another level. I don't know. Fujo goggles on maximum overdrive. Phantom Solitaire breaks. I think basically all the action is just converging on the office. Like
not the office, the fucking the building all the Yakuza kill people in.
Isn't that the office? Isn't that where they live or they operate?
No, I think they operate out of somewhere else. I could be wrong.
The fortune telling thing was just in there, and because it's so full of spirits or whatever, that's why he kept it as his office.
I don't think so. I think that's just where they live. I could be totally wrong. But anyway, everyone's converging there.
Yeah, Phantom
Solitaire's like,
shows up.
hey, this has to be where they are. I mean, it just feels right. And then
he's rambling about how Edogawa Rampo's work is now in the public domain, so he's allowed to reference it. But he's afraid that it will make his fans upset, so he's not going to. It's just the author talking about how he wants to make Rampo references.
Doesn't he just come to the conclusion of like, whatever, you know, they're gonna do it anyway?
It probably. I have an Edogawa Rampo reference in my Twitter bio right now because he's the man who coined the term Eroguro nonsense to describe his work and thus created the phrase Eroguro.
Jingai Jingo Komodo, thank you for helping everyone figure out the words. There's been a conversation in the chat trying to figure out what word.
Yeah, no, they got it. This was actually great.
We finally get to see Corpse God's Necromancer teacher, and man, would
be 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, like,
if I could kin a character,
that mask gave me a boner.
Everything about this,
because she's wearing a boner.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Anyway, yeah, no, she's just incredibly hot. I get why we haven't seen.
So, I mean,
her up until now.
It's not easy to make a character design that is as sexy as it is threatening and badass. You know, like, I remember. There's been some very controversial video game designs of, you know, game characters with huge open titties, and like they also look cool, and like My Shiranui from what fucking game is she from? King of Fighters? Yeah, like
Is that like Record of Ragnarok?
Look up Mai King of Fighters, and you'll get the girl I'm talking about. I don't know if I said her last name correctly, but like, I don't know. I have always looked up to any character that is both sexy and badass.
She's Katana or whatever. Or who has the fan in that in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Katana's kind of similar.
Yeah. Yeah, she's hot. Big boobs.
We'll get to ninja girls actually later in this podcast because there's also a hot ninja girl in a different show. But yeah, no, like it's difficult to pull off like Dom like as a woman and being like sexually explicit, you know? People kind of put women in the submissive position almost as a matter of course, and it's just
I'm here to change that. I will cosplay as the Junker Queen. You will all call me mommy and or your queen.
Yes. I would definitely call this my queen. Just the bone face obviously does most of the work. Like, it's an incredibly threatening image of like a literal skull coming off her face. Her face itself is hidden. She's wearing like a giant hat, so it looks like she's some kind of powerful mage. And if you were in a world where you knew that there was like, you know, crazy mage gear, obviously you're gonna look at that as threatening.
But so basically, she's explaining to Corpse God, "Hey, I'm about to topple this fucking empire. Are you ready to be free?"
Well, I'm not done with the design.
Oh.
Also, there's sexuality to it, not just in that she's, you know, got huge tits and she's wearing like this skimpy bra, but there's chains coming from a choker with like a jewel in it. The jewel, of course, signifies like wealth and dignity, and also there's lots of gold. The chains are literally gold chains. And one of them's going down her tits, which would almost seem like a submissive kind of thing, but then they're connected to fucking massive spikes on her shoulder, like her sleeves, I guess, the top of the sleeves. What a crazy, weird, cool ass design. Everything about it I love. Also, she's smoking a pipe. Hot.
It's a pretty cool pipe. It looks like it's made out of a bone, actually.
This design made up for the rest of this episode being boring as shit.
All right, did we get all our thoughts out about the design?
Yeah.
So anyway, she's explaining that she's about to topple the empire and making sure that Corpse God is ready to live freely. There's a lot of exposition dumping in this scene.
Yeah.
She kind of explains that Corpse God is inhabiting a skeleton, but it's like a strong skeleton or something. I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Strong skeleton.
But she's like, you know, you may have eternal life, but you always have to value the people around you that don't.
Yeah.
And protect them. And he's just kind of having flashbacks or
He's like, I fucking failed.
I didn't do that. Oh, man. And then, I don't know if it happens in this same sequence, but he also has some kind of, like... No. Doesn't happen in this sequence. I'll get there.
Also, the incredibly effeminate little boy who guards the Polka family.
The one with all the prosthetics. Starts fighting Phantom Solitaire, and we get to see what her fucking prosthetics do, or his prosthetics do. And that is, you know, I can't really explain it except for they extend in really weird and deadly ways.
I don't think I got any screen caps of that.
You didn't really get any. This is the credits.
I got the credits because I don't remember this being the credits. Was this always the credits of of Polka Shark and the pen doing like a dance?
Yeah, it's adorable. They're very cute.
I totally forgot about this.
But so okay, then I will talk about it. So the episode ends with Polka getting a call from the fire-breathing bug, Polka, or fucking, goddammit, this show. Corpse God in Polka's body is asleep. He has Polka the shark on him, and they're both sleeping, but the fire-breathing bugs put, like, what is it? This is a buggy system or whatever? The world is a buggy program. The world is a vampire.
They also had, like, an extra fucking 2 sentences or something. It was a special message. I don't remember reading all of it.
Couldn't really make it out. Anyway, so... after Polka, or fucking Corpse God, wakes up, he gets a phone call, and it's the fire-breathing bug with the umbrella that we've seen argue with Phantom Solitaire a couple times, and the fire-breathing bug basically says, like, "Oh, you're one of the bastard sons of Habba-da-ba-ba-da-ba," and he goes, "How do you know what that is?" And then he has a flashback to, I assume, someone in royalty just, like, forgiving him for being a fucking jackass. I don't know. It sets up a lot, and I really hope they answer questions next episode instead of giving us more questions. But yeah, it's 5 out of 10.
Well, this isn't over yet, so...
Oh, it's not?
No, there's still an episode left.
No, I know. I'm just saying, okay. This episode, 5 out of 10.
I don't even know if I can score it that high.
I just finished my sentence with, they set up a lot. I really hope we get more answers than we do questions in the next episode. And then I said 5 out of 10, and then you said, but it's not over yet. There's another episode.
Well, I don't know, man.
Okay, just making sure we're clear on...
I was reading the chat and trying to understand what was going on.
Well, here we go. Hell's Paradise. Woohoo! So, this episode starts... Okay.
Yeah, go for it. You said woohoo. You do that every time I say woohoo.
Anyway, so this episode starts off where we left off, obviously, with, or rather, where I don't think we left off in last episode with this, but fucking what's her name? I don't remember any of these characters' names. Senta is the fat guy. It's him and the two girls.
I'm trying to remember too now.
Ninja girl basically immediately runs away from this guy like he's too powerful. I can't do anything with him, and she's just immediately captured.
Because at the end of the last episode, I don't know if we mentioned it, but the second they walk through the door, Groot's head just comes off.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she tries to book it, and he immediately is like, "Hey, don't run away. I like you. I want to fuck with you."
I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. But yeah, so basically he explains, you have some usage of Tau, so you are the most interesting. You have the most Tau. I don't care about these other two Yamada Asaemon because they're losers.
Yes.
And so he just kind of starts kicking the Asaemon's asses and trying to convince the ninja girl to be friends with him.
He summons these like puppet
Kyoshin,
dudes.
I think he calls them.
They're humans that he experimented on until they are no longer human, I think.
Whoa, you said the thing.
No longer human, dude. So this I say he, but they're all gender fluid, so this one's gonna switch back and forth.
I think this is one of the Tensen that is more man identifying.
There's a part where he changes into a woman to use like different attacks,
different tactics. Because that's something we learned is men and women can use different kinds of Tau, the yin and yang, whatever. But anyway, so ninja girl's just kind of being assaulted by this guy.
Groot is still alive enough to explain expository
Well, we're not there
stuff.
yet. We're not there yet.
Well, that's what's happening right here in the screen cap. He's saying, "Oh, you're still alive."
Oh, I see. I forgot what his name was, I guess.
But basically, the long and short of this whole dialogue is that this guy, he likes to fuck with humans. He likes to experiment on them. Also, they've just been, basically from his perspective, they've been bringing people to this island so he can fuck with them. There is no such thing as a life elixir, he says. Y'all are fucking...
I'm gonna be honest, he's gotta be fucking lying, right? There's no way this is true. I think he's just trying to fuck with them.
Maybe. I know you said that the story continues past them being, like, on this, quest, right? To get this life elixir?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
No, I never said that. And even if I were to have said that, you should not have brought that up.
Well, never mind, then. I thought we talked about that on the show. So, I
think the only thing I said about this show going forward is that eventually a second group of people get sent to the island.
Okay, I see. I guess I had misunderstood that when you said that. This episode is a lot of fighting. There's a lot of like twists and turns and new abilities and stuff, and yeah, it all is really fun to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. There's only a few like real character beats that matter in it, but part of what I thought was fun here is the relationship between these two girls, because they've kind of been, the ninja
they're
girl...
kind of yin and yang, I mean, they're not male and female, but in terms of in terms of female people, they're kind of like...
Well, I would love if this show commented on the idea that there's more to yin and yang than just man female, like the way the Tencent are doing it. But yeah, these two, I don't know if I would say that they ever came off as particularly close, but in this battle they become close because of the fact that immediately...
Yuzuriha is the purple-haired girl's name, and Sagiri is the other girl's name.
Sagiri immediately jumped to Yuzuriha's defense. Like, she tried to help her. She tried to, get her out of that guy's clutches.
Senta did first.
Okay.
Because Senta...
They both do, though. They both are trying to save her.
Well, what it is Senta draws his blade at the Tenzin, and Sagiri is very taken aback by this, because we'll learn later in the episode. He's not really into this whole sword fighting thing. He doesn't really like it. He wanted to be an artist.
Yes.
And then, after he sees that, he goes, does he have special feelings for her? And that gets expanded on in a bit, but we'll get there.
So, yeah, Senta is definitely in love with Yuzuriha. She kind of treats him...
I don't know about that.
Well, he like says he's...
He doesn't say he's in love with her. He is jealous of her. Would transition have saved her?
Maybe that's...
and it's not... Yeah, envious is a good word for it.
Inspired is also a word I would use. Like, he views her as an inspiration.
All right, if we're just talking about it, I'll just talk about it. So basically, Senta was raised in a family that just sent their kids to be raised by the Yamada Asaemon. He didn't want to do that. He always wanted to be an artist, and so he hates killing people. He hates testing swords. He hates all of that. He just wants to be free-spirited. The thing he appreciates about Yuzuriha is how free-spirited she is, and there's like a really cool sequence of it in which she's in rainbows and everything.
So, and also that, like, even though she's incredibly cruel... it is in the name of maintaining her own freedom. And so I think that he allows her to be cruel to him because of the fact that he respects the freedom that she's expressing. And she just kind of takes advantage of that. And I don't think really respects him very much because of that. Like, and granted, like, she appreciates what he's trying to do. I don't think she really
respects anybody.
I think she respects Sagiri. And that's the difference that I see, like, because there's this moment where she stops and, like, grabs her by the face and is like, our top priority is survival. Like, she cares about Sagiri surviving. And it's interesting that both Sagiri and, what's his name? Senta were both trying to save her, but she doesn't really express any of this towards Senta. She doesn't really treat him any better.
No, and she literally, like, uses him to deflect an attack.
I think it's because... And I don't know, maybe this is just the way I feel as a person, but, like, it's hard for me to, like, respect somebody any more than they respect themselves, you know? Like, if you are constantly disrespecting yourself, then it's like, you know...
What's the point of me pouring my respect into you?
Right, exactly. If you're going to diminish it by constantly, like... it's not to say that Senta's disrespecting himself, but he will easily allow himself
He's disrespecting his dreams and what he really wants to do and how he wants to live his life. So that is the same as disrespecting yourself, I would say.
That's fair. I don't know how much of that she really realizes about him, but I think it's just the fact that she can walk all over him. It's like, well, then I'm going to, because you're letting me do it. Sagiri would not let that happen.
No.
She would not let herself be treated the way Senta is, and I think that's why Yuzuriha respects her and, like, sees her as more of an equal, is because, like, yeah, you know, you're not going to let me treat you like shit, and I actually do value having you around because you tried to help me and all this shit, you know? So,
but so, Yuzuriha and Sagiri are fighting the Tenzin, whose name I don't think we learn. I don't know, we might, and I just forgot it. But anyway, they're fighting. We finally get to see what the hell Yuzuriha can actually fucking do, and that is... oh,
yeah, I have a screen cap of that.
So she can drink...
Oh, first...
yeah, this is pretty hot.
her being really hot.
Yeah, that's pretty, you know, wood. But anyway, so she can drink poison, not be affected by it, and then secrete it like... ropes, basically.
Yeah.
And so she shoots out her ropes, and she just basically yeah. Anyway, surrounds the Tenzin with the ropes, which start dissolving his body, and then, like, cuts him in half, basically. And it's a really cool sequence because she does it in, like, 3 pieces. I don't know. This episode has a lot of really fun fighting.
Yeah, her power seems pretty badass.
But so immediately...
Also, just, like, I want to say, like, Hot Ninjas is, like, my #1 favorite. Like, nothing beats badass Kunoichi in an outfit like this. The girls from Dead or Alive, the girl from Tenchu, fucking Izuna, the Legend of the Unemployed Ninja. Anytime I see a fucking hot ninja girl, I'm just like, please let her be cool. And like, she hasn't really gotten to be cool until this episode. And like, at first she got captured and I was like, oh no, she's gonna be the damsel in distress. But it was cool that there was a woman who was working towards saving her, and also that she, once the fight starts, she's the one who does most of the damage. She's really in the fight because, once she understands Tao, she's like, oh, we called that key, but now that you're telling me there's more I can do with it, I'm unlocking more.
Well, and basically the Tenzin is only interested in her because she has had an exposure to Tao, so she's built hers up. Sagiri keeps getting in the way, and it's really funny because the beginning of their fight is basically just Yuzuriha and Sagiri and Senta just saying to each other, "You're getting in the way. You're getting in the way," to each other constantly, and it's just pick who's taking point on this.
That's really cute.
And eventually they decide, oh, we have to fight him together.
Yeah. I like when Yuzuriha's giving her
character statement.
Yeah, because we had blonde guys say similar stuff before, where because to me in this show, if you're going to survive as a character,
you have to have a defined driving purpose.
Yes, and I would say I think this is exactly like reality. This show to me is very, very. What's the word? Unfortunately, the phrase "red pilled" has been ruined by
based
by the right. No, I mean literally this is what reality is. Acid thought. Everything is one. How do I put it? It's the truth. The show is good at telling the universal truth behind it. What makes it watchable to me. Because the powers are fucking nonsense, right? It's a whole lot of dialogue about how things work. None of it makes any sense. It's magic. It doesn't fucking matter. It's a justification for why cool fights happen. But the attitudes of the characters, the reasons they survive, have a lot of weight and trueness to me. And I've talked a lot about how I have a phrase: self-insistence is a success necessity. In order to succeed in life, you must insist on yourself, because nobody else is ever going to insist on you until you insist on yourself. And when
I insist on myself at least twice a day.
When you are saying things like, I would kill a real god to protect my personal ability to live and do what I want.
No, she quickly became one of my favorite characters.
That is, it's just the ultimate statement about yourself. It's just I will do fucking anything, to allow myself to do what I want to do. And now we've got two characters who have said that and who have continued to exceed their capacity. And in the case of Gabimaru, he's doing it for someone else, but he cares.
Is he though?
I think. I mean, it's. I said episodes and episodes ago that I think his wife is secretly dead. It might even be that he knows it and he's just psychologically fractured himself to forget. I'm really anticipating anything from this show because it's fucking nuts, and we still have an episode left in the season, so I'm excited to get to that too and see what kind of stuff happens there. But yeah, they do briefly seem to kill this guy by all working together.
So basically, Tree Man tells Sagiri, you have to cut him in, and he uses a word for it, but basically the center of his stomach. That's where Tao is formed, that's where it comes from. And she gets a hit off initially, but the Tenzin basically goes, you don't know how to use Tao well enough to actually make that do anything. And then she does her breathing technique and fucking hurts his eye so it can't regenerate.
She basically realizes, as soon as she understands what Tao is, she just immediately understands it.
Very similar to Gabimaru.
Which, it's sort of implied.
Well, I would say I think she knows a little less about it than Gabimaru does, or maybe they know exactly the same because they end up pretty much as injured as each other.
The Tenzin basically implies that this is something that happens sometimes. That just some people have to master it, some people just get it as soon as they find out about it, and he thinks she must be the latter type.
Well, and it's nuts that they just get it. So Yuzuriha just always has the amount of Tao she has. Sagiri has to instantly manifest it. Yeah. That's how it's described, I believe.
This is another thing about when I say this show understands a truthiness to it, because Tao being just a metaphor for your literal spiritual ability to just do things, to manipulate reality, basically. Shit, I had an example I was gonna give and then I forgot. The the fan came on, and I just got mind wiped.
Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, Sagiri learns how to use her Tao, and she initially wounds his eye, and that does not regenerate, so they're like, oh shit, that's what I have to do. And it's basically exposited on even more that there are types of Tao, and Sagiri's Tao happens to be the opposite to this person's type of Tao.
Right, I remember now.
So anyway, then they're in the big fight. They all kind of work together to get the Tenzin secured, and Senta basically goes up behind him, stabs him through the chest, and holds him with like an arm against the neck so that he can't move. And basically goes, now you're not going to be able to move. And the Tenzin goes, what, are you going to be cut down with me? And Senta yells out, Sagiri, aim for a feather's width or breadth or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like she basically cuts him in half without cutting Senta at all.
Yeah.
The Tenzin doesn't move. It seems like he's dead. And, at this point I was like, no, he's not. Yeah, we saw what happened to that other Tenzin. He's not dead.
So, like, Tao is, like, kind of a metaphor for just being able to do stuff. And, I kept thinking about, Film Crit Hulk wrote this article once about Donald Glover, where he was calling him a genius, basically. But he says that a genius isn't necessarily somebody who gets it right on the first try. It's about how quickly you learn.
Yeah.
How fast you can make it better, how much better it is the next time you do it. And I think everybody has certain things that they are just like way more talented at than other things. Like I would not consider myself a genius as a writer by any stretch of the imagination, because it took me so fucking long to get good. Like, to even get like mildly good took a lot of practice. I've been writing for years and years and years before I started making money off of it, and this is going to sound really pretentious. I would consider myself a genius when it comes to cooking, just because, like... I agree, and I've seen you cook something once, fuck up in a couple little ways, and then just make it perfect the next time.
Yeah.
Like to like a ridiculous degree of perfection, because you just
it's
saw
just
what the
I
problems are
understand.
and fixed them,
I mean, like, cooking, when it comes down to it, is basically just science, and I spent a lot of the reason why I have the understanding about it that I do is because the first cookbook I ever had was called The Food Lab. It's by J. Kenji Lopez Alt, who Binging with Babish describes as where all good recipes come from. But basically, The Food Lab is a book with a bunch of really good recipes, and then after the recipes, the science behind them, why it works and everything. And Serious Eats is pretty much that as well. That's the website that he runs. But that is kind of how I learned to cook, and so now, like, I can just kind of understand why things fuck up.
Yeah.
Which I can't always do with, regular life. And so that's part of why I like to cook so much, because it's something I'm pretty confident with that I can get right. And, like, it's getting to the point now, like, so today I made hash browns with hash brown, like, the cubes as opposed to the actual hash browns. I'm not used to doing that, so it just kind of looked ugly to me, and it's, like, I had a problem with that. I didn't used to have a problem with that. It's like, well, I feel like I've got technique down mostly for making it taste good, and now I want to get the technique of making it look good. And part of that is I've been getting into, like, weird avant-garde artsy food, and that would be fun to get into, but my big problem there is just there's so much fucking waste that goes into that kind of food, and I'm not really comfortable doing that. But if you would like to see me cooking more, please say it, and I'll do it.
All right, we have to continue. The cooking conversation is going over my head, and I have nothing to contribute. So this
is Senta explaining why he likes Yuzuriha so much.
The Tenzin was not dead. It turns into its big final form.
And
I have a screen cap of
stabs
that in a second.
Senta through the heart with a rose.
Yes,
and then
so
he turns into a flower guy.
As he's dying, he has this crazy, trippy hallucination about Yuzuriha just, like, kicking over the pile of skulls that, like, exists in his mind of all the people he's beheaded, and just kind of dancing in the rain of skulls. I love this sequence. It's one of those just images that, like, however, like, it's, I won't say it's obvious. It's not obvious. It's weird. Well, anyway, I was talking about how much I love this scene in Hell's Paradise, because this girl's just dancing with a parasol in a rain of heads. It's incredibly surreal. It's very different. I never would have conceived of such an image, and yet I'm surprised to have never seen it, which is how I always feel about anything I see that I'm like, wow, I'm like blown away that somebody came up with this and nobody else had. Again, I don't think it seems obvious. It's just like, you know, this is creativity at its finest for me. You're taking a bunch of things that make sense and are recognizable and doing something somehow different with it. Always fascinating.
All right. It's real trans hours, ladies and gentlemen. I'm breaking out the white monster.
Oh shit, it's White Monster. Let's go. Let's fuck up our DNA with this sucralose.
Whatever. Who knows if that's real?
Where did you hear that information about the sucralose?
I don't want Jojo's friend that I met in DC that one time.
Oh. I don't even remember who you're talking about.
Yeah, you didn't meet him. I don't really want to talk about him too much, just because I don't think he would appreciate it.
All right, well, so here's the fucked up monster that the Tencent turned into.
No, oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the white monster. That is the best monster.
No. This is a fucked up monster. It's cool as shit, though.
It is really cool. We get to see the whole unfurling of it. I can't wait to see the other Tencents this form. They have a word for it. I forget what the word is. But yeah, this is very cool.
My final form.
I can only assume that the next episode is going to be an intercut between Sagiri and Yuzuriha fighting this guy and Gabimaru and the tall guy fighting a different Tencent.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen.
But so this happens and Sagiri and Yuzuriha are basically like, fuck, we really have to fight this thing right now?
Yuzuriha's basically over it. Like, she went from, I'll fucking kill God to, I have to fight that? I don't know.
I don't know if I'd fight God.
Just watch Senta die also. Like, he's, now a flower.
He's a flower. But so, do you have a screenshot of what happens next? Or... So the vines shoot out towards them, and Blind Man is here. Woohoo!
Yes, just in the nick of time when you're like, oh no, they're not going to kill Yuzuriha after they just made her a badass. Nope. Blind Samurai shows up. I assume this means that the Islander girl is not far behind.
I would think so. But yeah, I'm excited to see them more.
It's cool to have some more paths crossing, more of our group getting together. So, I mean, at this point, all the important characters will be in just two groups, I think.
Actually, to draw a comparison to Dead Mount Deathplay, pretty much everyone has the exact same motivations in both shows, and they're all going towards the same thing. But this show, everyone has a very clear, defined personality and what they're after, what they're about.
This show is a billion times better than Dead Mount Deathplay. Anime scores, I always feel weird giving a score to a show, because I've given scores to thousands of shows, and so like when I give like something a 6 versus a 7, it's like that means there's like 200 things in between those, like in this show, like the difference between this and Dead Mount Deathplay, this show I'd give like a strong 8 probably. Dead Mount Deathplay is like a 5, like
at best
a light 5. That's a huge difference. That is that's thousands of anime worth of difference of quality. It's just really funny that, they're both basically just trying to be badass. Like, that's all they want, is to have, like, a bunch of badass characters doing badass shit.
And I guess
the show is so much more successful.
The problem with Dead Mount Deathplay is, no one's really that badass.
No, they all just stand around and fucking talk. They don't do anything. In this show, shit is constantly happening. It's breakneck like, every time I think back to where we were at the end of, like, episode 3, I didn't think any characters were going to matter or survive, except Gabimaru and Sagiri. And then, like, the next 10 episodes is just
establishing
making
all
us
the other
give
characters.
A fuck about, like, 5 or 6 other people, and yet also keeping their lives on the line, slowly killing off the less cool ones until you're just left with the badasses.
That's another thing, too, is, like, this show, there is kind of always a constant fear that anyone could die, and in Dead Mount Deathplay,
they did such a good job of that. Dead Mount Deathplay, like nobody will ever die. You have a necromancer as the main character. He could literally just bring your fucking ghost back to fight for him. There's no way a character can disappear from that universe. It's nuts.
It's like the opposite of actions have consequences. But yeah,
man.
that's that episode. It was very good.
very
I'm
good.
excited to see the ending. I'm sad that it's ending, but I'm glad it's coming back
Also
in
a show that
October.
needs more. Another show that like I feel I'm gonna have to give an 8, but could be a 9 if it continues to be badass. All right, this one I don't need to necessarily come back, but I
wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind
a weird
it. I just
ending.
don't need it.
So the last episode, all the magical girls powered up, and Shoban called them the Magical Destroyers. And this kind of expands on that, with Shoban basically explaining, yeah, Origin's the one behind all this, I'm in control, you're all NPCs, and thanks for raising the magical girls for me, because now they can destroy you very easily, very quickly.
I'm immediately confused with this episode, because 2 episodes ago, we, at the very end of an episode, watched all of the otaku die.
And they're all fine in this episode.
Why? Did something happen I missed in the last episode where they all got resurrected? I don't remember this happening. I remember it just being magical girls fighting for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much all I remember, too. I mean, I don't remember them coming back.
Somebody, please, if you're watching this and you're in the chat and you remember why all the otaku are just alive, or if that was ever explained, please help. Because this episode, at like the very beginning, just all of the otaku who went into the fight, who we watched die dramatically, are just back. And they won. They just like won the fight. They took over.
They killed all the
and then
SSG
they get a call that's like, come back over here because the
Otaku Hero's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, the magical girls are all crazy. And I'm just like, why are they alive? What the fuck is going on? Like, I know this show is weird. I know it's got a lot of metaphors, but this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Why all the otaku aren't deader?
I know both of us were having a hard time following the show.
I had a hard time following it this week, too. I just feel like it established more of what was going on.
Ellen says, I'm pretty sure it's not explained at all why they're back.
Okay,
Yeah, it just doesn't make any fucking sense, I guess. That's the show. It doesn't make any fucking sense, I guess. You know,
get to
Kyotaro's
see
origin kind of looks like the girl that
is Kyotaro not the name of the guy in
the
Dangers in My Heart?
Yes, we've realized this like 4 times now.
Whoops.
But Kyotaro, is Origin. Origin looks like the girl that that time I got reincarnated as a slime that Rimuru took the body of. And I don't know, I guess Origin just empowers whatever Shobon wants to do, because why not? It's fun,
because
or
she
mildly fun. She
is the one player in the game.
Right.
Shobon's the creator, he's the god, everyone else is an NPC, and Origin is the player because she's bored. Yeah, that literally seems to be what it is that she's bored.
She seems bored even with this scenario that is actually happening.
That seems to be explained a little more as we get later into the episode, when stuff that Shobon did not put in the script starts happening, and we see Origin laughing her ass off.
Yeah.
Because, of course she's going to be playing a game with this asshole, too.
So, literally, Shobon's motivations are explicitly that Otaku made fun of his game, and now he wants to ruin shit for Otaku. And obviously the Otaku don't want that. Otaku Hero gives this long-ass speech as the magical girls are fucking him up, where he's talking about how he just wants to like what he likes as much as possible.
Otaku. They all like something. They all just want to have a community around liking things, and there should not be as big of a problem as Shoban has with liking things. And then he goes on a whole rant about, you're just full of hate. You're just the worst guy. This game's a hate game.
Have to challenge Otaku Hero here.
Yeah, no, he's kind of wrong.
If you're supposed to like whatever you like as much as you like it, why not like hate as much as you like hate? Why not enjoy making this? Because the guy says, I love making worlds. I made this world. I'm having fun. And Otaku Hero is like, yeah, but you're having fun.
You're having fun at the expense of others.
Right. And I guess he thinks that all of the stuff they do is totally innocent, even though in episode 4 we explored how the one otaku was ignoring his children in service of participating in these hobbies.
Look, this show is strange because, like, the enemies are literal fascists.
Yeah.
And then they portray the otaku as mostly good. But they have, like, some real glaring problems.
Yeah.
And it doesn't...
But none of those are really explored in the ending. It's all just kind of absolved, and, like... Again, he literally just says, this game is made from an urge to hate, and therefore it's bad. And I'm like, the guy's just liking what he likes as much as he likes it, just like you. Maybe Otaku Hero would have had better odds in this fight if he had a different mentality. It's hard to say.
I hate. But yeah, so Otaku Hero gets stabbed through the chest by all three of the magical girl's things. He's dead. He dies.
There's like a flashback that really sucks.
Well, it's the flashback to when it's Christmas, where, like, you know, he's giving them the outfits and they're all shitting on him.
And then, like, she just, fucking Anarchy goes into another big crying fit about how much she likes him and cares, and, like...
In the flashback,
saying
not
the same
in the current.
shit over and over again. Yeah, every time she cries about him, it's the same thing since the first episode. I don't know. I found this weirdly annoying as the ending of this show, because it wasn't nearly as, like, artsy or creative as the best episodes are. You know, like, a couple of the early episodes were so fucking weird that I couldn't understand them, but I was still kind of drawn in.
Ellen makes a good point. This one is an example of a bad anime speech. He's just yelling. None of what he's saying is trying to bring down Shaban's view of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's just saying all of the things that made Shaban hate otaku and want to do this in the first place.
And I feel like we've been locked for the last 3 episodes in basically what to me reads like the writer of this show expressing, I've been given a show to write. And I don't know what it's about other than that I like anime and manga and stuff, and I don't like fascism. And, like, there's a bullheadedness to it that I appreciate, but I liked it more when it was doing, like, high fashion and art.
Yeah.
When, like, the point of it was that it's a vehicle to express weird shit. I think the episode with the little girl with the big brother was like a head that just transforms is the best episode of the show. In terms of, like, realizing what it was trying to do, of just, like, wacky, fun, expressive, crazy fighting, magical girls, otaku, commentary on the media, having something, like, kind of psychological and, like, weird and disturbed about it. This episode, the last few episodes, all feel like, all right, the show has to have, like, a big crazy ending, but, like,
so let's set up for that.
But it's not. It's so thin. Like, I'm thinking, like, I was hoping for something more along the lines of an Evangelion, where it ends with just, like, a crazy thought dump.
It kind of did end like Evangelion, because by the end of it, the magical girls are just, like, rounding up all the otaku into a big ball.
Yeah.
There's the big ball.
Yeah, but like, Evangelion is like, hey, I made it through the story. Here's all the rest of the thoughts I have about that, you know, packed into a couple. You haven't seen the end of Eva, so you don't know what I'm talking about. But, like, it's really dense. And I don't necessarily think it's good, the last 2 episodes of Eva, but I was expecting this show to be similarly...
I don't necessarily think the episodes of Eva I've seen are good.
Fair enough. I was expecting this show to have more to say, and instead it feels like it had exactly one thing to say that it said over and over and over and over and over again, and sometimes it said it in interesting ways, but the last few episodes are basically just reiterating the point, but, like, with less intrigue, like, just kind of saying it more straightforwardly and not with as much intrigue.
In the few episodes I watched, this felt like a Trigger show without the substance of one.
Yeah, and especially the ending. I'll talk about it in a second. So Otaku Hero literally dies. He just gets killed by the magical girls. They round up most of the rest of the otaku into a big ball. And they enter phase 2, where basically they're just even more in control. The bad guys have extra won, until one day when
it's a year after they have won.
Shoban's giving a victory speech, and, like, we've seen that
victory lap. Shoban's doing a victory lap.
We have seen that there is somebody trying to keep the spirit of Otaku Hero alive and, like, putting posters up about him and stuff. And then eventually a guy, one of the otaku shows up dressed as him and just says, I'm the new otaku hero, and we're going to fight you guys, and it all continues.
It's kind of, I'm kind of happy that Otaku Hero II looks like an anime protagonist, as opposed to the first one who just looks like a dork.
I mean, this guy's got freckles. I think he is just one of the guys who was in the team.
Probably. But yeah, he's got a whole team of 5 people with him, and they're ready to fight the magical girls. And so the one of the ending shots is the magical girls charging at this group, and Otaku Hero II is just I'm not worried about it. And it's dude, they're magical girls.
Yeah, they're way more powerful than
They're
you
literally
guys.
magical destroyers. They only do one thing. So I don't know what you're trying to do here.
Yeah. So Ellen already brought up what I was going to say. This is a lot like the ending of Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. And that show, which, to me, there was an obvious comparison here from the start because of the fact that show is about anarchy. Panty and Stocking's full names are Anarchy Panty and Anarchy Stocking. But, that show, and it has a song about anarchy, that show was actually anarchic. It was actually way raunchier, way more extreme than Magical Destroyers, which seems kind of tame by comparison. Both artistically and in how far it was willing to push the sex and violence and scat and just nonsense. And obviously Panty and Stocking was a bunch of very experienced creatives, a coalition of high artists selected by an experienced director, and this show is not that, at least not the same way. But the ending of Panty and Stocking is this just ridiculously shocking twist where, if I remember correctly, Stocking cuts Panty into pieces, just murders her, and becomes, reveals that she's a bad guy. And it's implied that there will be a second season to resolve all of that, and that has yet to happen. The ending of Panty and Stocking was so much more shocking than this. The magical girls become bad guys, and so you're kind of okay, are they going to stay evil, or are they going to be turned back? Oh, okay, they stayed evil? Huh. Yeah, okay. That's weird. Not very satisfying. Again, the end of Panty and Stocking was literally shocking and fucking hilarious because it was actual anarchy on the part of the show to end that way. This is, if anything, very orderly. The message is the cycle continues. Otaku Hero rises infinitely. The magical girls are they seem to be happy because Otaku Hero had promised he would return, but it's not literally him. He's conceptually returned. I don't know. It feels like they were trying to be deep and failing. And this show, it puts off the vibe of hey, we're not trying to be deep. We're just trying to love what we love. But I think a greater expression of love for good stuff is to make something good. And I do think this show is good in its best moments. I would probably give this a light 6, a strong 5 to a light 6, because it has some really good moments, but it also has a lot of just kind of nothing burger to it. It became less interesting after, again, I would say the peaks were episodes 3 and 4 were good. Episode 5 was pretty alright. The one with the head and the little sister was really fun, and the rest of it I honestly could have completely left. I don't think it added to the message to have 12 episodes. I think this could have been a way more interesting hour-long OVA or a movie that actually could have like used its budget and animation better. But as a full TV show, it just feels unnecessary. What would you score Magical Destroyers?
6.5.
Yeah, that's about where I would put it. What's your last review? Were you just like shitting in there?
Yeah, I'm not having a. I might
not
have
having
to
a
go
good
back.
stomach time.
Yeah, I don't know. I would really like to see where the second season goes, if that is something that is going to happen. I also don't know that I would like to see where the second season goes.
I don't think there's gonna be another season of this. Who wants another season of this? Are you just rushing right back?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, that's it for Magical Destroyers. Oh yeah, got to keep on loving is the final message. 'Cause you know, Cowboy Bebop, see you Space Cowboy. You're gonna carry that weight. You gotta have some kind of ending last title card. Gotta keep on loving. It feels weird that this message appears when it does. Like, I don't know. The last scene of the show doesn't communicate got to keep on loving to me. Just a very messy, uncoordinated show. It feels like a first draft of a inexperienced writer that had some energy and passion poured into it that rubs off and has like a kind of charisma to it, but ultimately feels juvenile and well, I don't even know, not juvenile, sophomoric, I guess is the word. I don't know if those are that different of words.
Anyway, okay, here we go, Mashle. This isn't the last episode of Mashle, is it?
No, there's
okay.
one more at least.
It's really good. This is a great episode because I kind of been expecting the whole fighting the doll guy to take 2 episodes and be a whole fucking fight. And, you know, as usual, Mash just kicks his ass immediately. It's great. It's wonderful. So, basically, this episode starts off with Abel. Abel is his name. Abel basically explaining, like, hey, Mash, you can't use magic. And Mash, as usual, goes, I can use magic while hiding.
He doesn't come to that conclusion, he doesn't state it out loud. Mash gets away with it. But I do love that it's a character trait of his that when he is even accused of anything being weird, he immediately, like, makes it obvious that something is weird. It's adorable. It's
very cute. Mash is the best. So, Abel goes on a big speech about how, inferior genes are bad, basically. I don't like people with worse genes than me. They suck. And that, you know, bad take. But he goes on to basically explain, like...
I guess he'd be called a eugenicist? Yeah?
He's not killing people.
He's using the weak... He sees the weak as nothing but literal puppets.
Yeah.
To have their power sapped.
Yeah, he's sucking, like, at least 100 students' magic out of them. His powers are so strange. Because, like... I mean, it's magic, I guess, so that can be excused. But he turns people into dolls and then absorbs their power or something. So it starts with Mash, or rather, Abel's explaining inferior genes suck, blah, 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 blah. My mom used to really care about poor people. She was born as a
that's way later.
That's way later? Oh, shit, okay. Sorry, it blends together. Mash starts sending out God damn it.
Take a second. Breathe. Stop thinking about how much you have to poop.
I don't.
Or how bad the poop was.
Abel sends a bunch of puppets after Mash. And also, the whole time this fight is going on, Love Cute is just kind of watching from the doorway, like, cheering on Abel. And
she happens to enter the room and be like, oh shit, they're fighting. Oh, fuck. But now she's the spectator.
She's enthralled. She wants to see what happens. And, so initially Abel sends out the regular dolls and Mash kicks their ass, and then he sends out dolls filled with acid, and Mash somehow figures out which dolls are filled with acid and just launches them towards the other dolls. Or no, that's not what it is. He just launches one of the acid-filled dolls towards the rest of the dolls, and they all dissolve. After that, Abel sends out his really strong dolls, which, you know, Mash also fucking kicks the ass of. And then Abel starts to, like, use his magic, and so the first thing he uses is... I think his spell is like Marionesse, but I don't remember exactly what it is. He uses marionette control or whatever, and Mash is controlled by strings, and Mash immediately breaks these strings pretty easily. Then Abel uses, I think his name is Finn, right? Mash's roommate is Finn?
Yeah.
Finn Ames. So Abel has Finn turn into a puppet and starts having Finn as a puppet come after him with axes, while also explaining that Mash is not allowed to hit back because if he does, he will just destroy Finn. Mash, takes a couple hits. The axe that Finn is carrying breaks before it does anything to Mash, which is like, no. I mean, I get it. He's strong. No. So, Mash takes out his gold coin and says, "This is what you want, right?" And Abel thinks he's won and goes, finally, you've decided to come to your senses.
In 1 second, ads will run for some of you. Go!
And then Mash, just launches the coin, cuts the strings, and the scenario is done. And so Abel realizes, like, fuck, I gotta actually use magic on this guy. Which, why wasn't he just doing that in the beginning? He's done it for so many weaker people to just do what he does, which is just turn Mash into a puppet. So he turns Mash into a puppet, and I have what?
I think you got ahead of me, actually. He kneed him in the face.
He got a hit in before he got turned into a puppet? I didn't know
yeah.
that. Okay.
Well, because that's what made the guy do it. It's
I
like
see.
So Mash, like, yeah, he was using the coin to, like, break the strings on the other guy's shit. This episode, we're, like, halfway in at this moment. It's just one big fight scene, but it's one of the better ones we've had lately. Because this show has been, like, fight after fight the last few episodes. Some of them are really funny. Usually it's just, like, Mash's fights are hilarious and the other fights are more serious, and the serious fights are not as interesting.
But I would say even at least with Dot, they're kind of funny. Because Dot's just an asshole. I mean, rather...
Sure. The characters are funny in that they, like, have funny personalities. But, like, with Mash, the way he deals with the situation is usually a combination of badass and hilarious. Where, like, he didn't just destroy the marionettes, he took one of his head and used it as a bowling ball to bowl it into the other ones. There's always some element of comedy. But then there's also, like, the moments where, like, this guy gives the whole rant to him about inferior genes, and then Mash is like, he remembers some stuff about his granddad, like, expressing a different sentiment.
We get some flashbacks to Mash as a kid and his granddad.
Yeah.
And, like, the only thing we've seen of Mash's granddad at this point is him being a really fucking old guy. Mm-hmm. And when it cuts back to Mash's childhood, he looks like beginning of middle age at best.
Yeah, and then he just suddenly is old as shit. But, I guess he just went bald all at once. Or started
but he got a
shaving his
hunchback
head.
too. Like, he just looks like an 80-year-old man. You don't age 30 years in 5 or 10.
But some people do.
I guess, yeah.
Mash remembers this stuff about his granddad, expressing an opposite sentiment, and is like, you know what? I don't think our values align. And so they continue fighting. And, like, some of the stuff he does is funny, like flipping the coin and everything. And he's like, I guess this coin just likes me because it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
But then he finally just, like, knees him in the fucking face. And this is one of those just, bam, like, badass, hard-ass moments the show does so well,
hits him
too.
somehow. Oh, he breaks all his fucking fingers.
Yes.
Because he's breaking the strings. So he, like, bends backwards, like, 3 of the guy's fingers.
Yes.
And then knees him in the face. I knew there had to be something.
And it's, I guess, painful enough that even though the guy has no emotional expression in response, he uses a spell
called Marionettes.
that makes him a marionette. I really would love either a doll of Mash normal or a doll of Mash doll.
Yeah.
Doll Mash.
Doll Mash is pretty cute. But so I think what happens here is Abel tries to reach for the shoe cream keychain that Lemon made for him. And Mash has... I mean, they go into great detail explaining this. I don't quite remember what it is. But Mash has a spinal reflex. And basically how they choose to explain this is pretty science-based, which is interesting, because it was almost like watching Dr. Stone for a second. But basically... a spinal reflex happens to protect the human body from danger. For example, if you were cooking and you, like, reached too close to the fire or something, you would, instead of, having the thought process to just reach your hand back, your spine would go, ow, that hurts. Or rather, it's explained that it is a way for neurons to more quickly react than the brain has time to think of a reaction to, I believe. And so Mash had such a strong reaction to this guy trying to take his shoe cream that he, I think it's like punches him in the face or something. Let's see what the next slide is. Yeah, so he's still got a doll hand here. But, you know, Mash has a reaction. He becomes not a doll. And, you know, having this reaction is what causes Abel to go into a whole thought spiral and explain how his magic works and the spinal reaction thing. But basically, Abel's magic superficially turns these people into a doll whose magic they can leech off of, but under that doll exterior, they are still human. And so, you know, you can still reflex to things, I guess, is the point. Anyway, Mash reacts. He's a really strong doll. He is happy that his cream puff is alive. And, I mean, Abel and Love Cute are just fucking astounded by this. They're really concerned.
Yeah.
So this causes Abel to break out his big magic, which we have learned is, I think we learned it first with Lance Crown and Mudman. But as their family magics increase in spell powerfulness, they use so Marioness and then Marioness second. I'm sure Thirth is probably a thing too. I don't know. We haven't gotten there. But so Abel summons a really big doll. Oh, what does that mean?
What?
That weird little yellow thing.
That's just VLCU.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't trust programs. Abel summons a three-headed doll monster giant thing and explains that this is my ability that turns anyone within 100 meters into a doll as soon as the strings touch them. You cannot see the strings. And Love Cute pretty much immediately realizes, fuck, that means me. And Mash is not concerned about it. He just, I mean, he will... Okay, wow.
Ultimately, he suplexes this man.
Yeah, so what happens is... Rather, it's deduced by Love Cute that the strings were moving so fast and Mash couldn't see them, so what he did was he, like, contorted his body in a weird way so that one of the strings hit his left arm first, and he couldn't control that anymore, or right arm or whatever. Yeah. So he uses the other arm to immediately rip out all of the strings because he knows where one of them is. Yeah. So that happens, and then Abel's like, what the fuck? Yeah. What's going on? Mash kicks the ass of the big fucking doll thing he summoned and shoots it at Abel. And Abel's still like, what the fuck? And then Mash gets behind him, and I forget exactly what it's called, but Mash now has a spell name for his suplex. Yes. And I was so happy about that. Ruggy. Let me see how we're sounding.
We're probably doing fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's green there, so I don't care.
Yeah, Mash suplexes this man out of his entire, like, he has to remember his whole past.
So we learned that Abel's mom was born into nobility, and she was always doing charity acts, feeding poor people, and so on. So Abel did grow up kind of, wow, you really just cut straight to the thing. Abel grew up with a compassion for poor people, and then one day, while his mother was handing out soup, there was a guy who was hoarding all of the soup for himself, and as a result, he stabbed Abel's mom. The man then goes on to explain that, or rather, he doesn't explain, he just kind of says, like, consider this comeuppance for being so lucky all your life. And so, like, yeah, I get, that sucks, that's a really shitty thing. My big problem with it is, how the fuck does Abel know that guy said that? Like,
yeah. Where did he hear this story
why
from?
would you tell a kid that?
I just think it's funny that every time somebody gets their ass kicked in this show, they immediately reflect on every key moment in their life and why.
Have you ever had your ass kicked?
No,
it does happen. I mean, it's your life flashing before your eyes. It's only happened to me once, but
yeah. So.
I would say, not recommending you get your ass kicked, but the results of getting your ass kicked can be a little better than therapy sometimes. At least in my case.
Well, I like getting my ass consensually kicked.
Okay.
In Mashle, it's really funny because this ordinarily, you know, a shonen arc might end with like recruiting the bad guy onto your side. This arc does not do that.
I think it's going to. I think Abel's probably going to be fine and be around.
Maybe. I just know Mashle's, like, not allowed to beat him to death, I think, within the rules of this show.
I just don't really think Mash wants to beat people to death. He wants to beat them until they stop being an inconvenience for him.
And he even says he thinks there must be something good about this guy because it seems like he just cares about his mom as, like, the core of it.
Yeah.
I think Mash is being a little too
Yeah,
forgiving.
no, he's being a little generous there.
Yeah,
you know?
This guy is kind of a fucking monster and literally, like, a genocidal, like, what's the word for eugenicist is, I think, what I said earlier. Yeah, he's not the greatest guy, but he also doesn't... It's interesting. The show portrays him as, like, actively resistant to self-reflection. There's a part where Mash basically says to him, like, we don't agree on anything. And his response is, I wish you would stop nitpicking my ideals. And I'm like, he's not nitpicking. He is rebuking.
Do you think that's just like a translation thing?
It could be, but I think whatever word he must have chosen must have at least been similar, because that's such a particular word to use. Like,
man, we need someone who speaks Japanese on this show.
It's true. I just thought that was an interesting piece of dialogue. Like, it seems like, because even after the fight's over, like, the guy, his conclusion, because Mash says early on, if I beat you, it means you're inferior to me genetically, right? And, like, ultimately...
Well, he says that right before he beats him.
Yeah, and it seems like ultimately, yes, that is...
Well, that's the whole point of the
guy
show.
Sees it. It's like, oh shit, well, you did beat my ass. I can't beat you. So yeah, I will give you back your friends. I don't agree with you. I don't see things your way. I still think that the strong live to rule the weak, but you're stronger than
the weak
me.
Must fear the strong.
So I guess I must fear you.
I think right before Abel gets his ass kicked, he goes something like, you know, it's the responsibility of the weak to defend themselves, and then the weak fucking destroy his ass.
Yeah.
But so anyway, Mash was only fighting this guy to get Lemon back, that turns out. And if you don't remember, because it's been like 3 episodes, the whole reason they're in this dungeon is because they were following Lemon down a hall and she disappeared.
Right.
So anyway, they get Lemon back. It's Mash, Lemon, and Finn, and so this is after Dot shows up as well, but initially it's just like Mash, Lemon, and Finn, like, doing a little victory dance.
They're literally just celebrating, and
Abel's just standing in the corner like, these people are fucking fools. These people are idiots. What the fuck?
The friend is pointing at Mash and going, hero, hero, and then she's pointing at
Lemon,
going, husband.
And Mash is just like, shoot cream or something like that. Like, I love Mash. He's so much fun.
He is absolutely, like,
but
top tier.
There has to be like a solid minute of victory lapping of just like, you know, woo, we did it.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, we did it.
It keeps cutting back to it too. Like, it cuts to another scene, and then at the very end, just back to them celebrating still.
Yeah. I do like how emotionless Mash looks here, because, like, smiling, but has his face caved in, and then Mash is just like standing there, like, obviously happy, but not smiling. I wonder if we'll ever see him smile. Okay, so Finn's older brother, with the spider that reads magic or whatever, comes across what is initially believed to be Lance Crown, the blue-haired guy.
At some point, everybody's celebrating. It's like, wait a minute, we have another friend. Where the fuck is he?
Yeah. And then we cut to that. Finn's older brother shoots a sword at this guy, and this guy just blocks it immediately, and the spider goes, magic counter broken, or something like that. Like, it's too high.
Amy says, what happened to my boy Dot? I can't remember how his face got caved.
Yeah, I don't really remember either.
He just kind of shows up with a caved-in face, and I'm like, wait, when did that happen? I don't remember.
So, it is revealed that Lance, at least this version of Lance, I do think Lance is still around and fine, but this version of Lance we are seeing right now is a member of Innocent Zero, which is, I guess, a terrorist group. I think it's also a person, because they've been alluded to in the singular before as, like, one of the guy's students. I don't remember the guy's name, but there's, like, 3 people that studied under this guy, and they all have weird magic. This person with a thorn of crowns, it's unclear what their gender is, so I'm just going to refer to them as they.
Seems like just like an Orochimaru type, you know? Like a...
Hot?
Very... Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, I love this character design. Dark circles under the eyes... makeup, kind of masculine.
Those are my two
kind
best
of
looks.
feminine.
Actually, those are all my best looks. You're just describing me right now.
Cool hair, literally wearing a crown of thorns like Jesus
The
Christ.
earrings are awesome too. Like they'd be inconvenient as hell.
Well, I guess those are earrings. Yeah.
So anyway, whatever. Blocks the magic. Ames, the senior, just kind of fucks off, I guess. And we learn that this person is going after MASH. Well, or no. They've been working. Innocent Zero has been working with Abel, so this person is here to kill Abel.
Don't forget about this man.
And then
a giant knife, kitchen knife comes falling from the sky.
Ames
suddenly.
the senior goes after this person to try and stop them.
Yeah.
And then a giant kitchen knife, much in the same way that we've seen his swords, I don't remember what they're called, just kind of comes out of the sky and goes in front of him. And then this guy shows up with a fork and knife and just goes, "I'll be your opponent, the serial killer and cannibalist, John Pierre." And you know, part of the reason I like about Mashle so much is there's not a lot of exposition. But couldn't this guy have just like been mentioned at some point in like a newsreel throughout the show, so we had a concept of who he was? I guess this is enough, but so hot is not a word that comes to mind when I think of Orochimaru. Well, I don't know. Anyway, this guy's
Bird happens to look a lot like Orochimaru. I'll just say
I could be paler if I was going for that.
Cosplay. He's probably shorter than you, but otherwise,
I never got. Anyway, John Pierre.
He's not short. He's just shorter than you.
Sure.
Most of the Naruto characters are fucking tiny. They're the smallest little boys in the world, and I know why.
5'10".
The author of Naruto also very tiny man.
Who's the tallest person in Naruto?
That's a good question. I feel like Jiraiya's pretty tall.
Fuguki Tsukazan?
I don't know that character.
I don't know who that is either. Sasuke is 6 foot.
That's not that tall. You're still 5 inches taller than
right.
Sasuke. Anyway.
Kakashi seems to be pretty tall too. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Kakashi is fairly tall. Alright, yeah.
So this guy shows up and Ames the senior just freaks out and is like, "Oh my god, he's on the level of a divine visionary. I have to fight this fucker now?" Because, you know, Ames the senior is a very bored-seeming character. He does not want to be here. And
this guy is a serial killer and cannibalist.
And he announces himself as such. He goes, "I am the guy you're going to be fighting. You know, the serial killer and cannibalist, John Pierre."
He's wearing a gigantic
dinner napkin.
Yeah, napkin in his shirt.
No, it's really funny. I like this character.
You know what this suddenly feels like to me is Soul Eater.
Yeah, no.
This feels like the start of an arc of Soul Eater.
Do you remember like the fight where Stein and Medusa are in like this exact scenario, and it's just so reminiscent of it. I like it a lot. I liked Soul Eater a lot. My problem with Soul Eater is that why didn't they just continue it instead of giving us a fucking bullshit ending about how friendship is important or whatever?
The manga was still ongoing.
I don't care. Like, wait a minute. You know, just hang out. Chill out.
At the time, Studio Bones was not known for doing long-running shows.
My biggest problem with it is just like I hear that Soul Eater got fucking weird and incredible and fun after that.
The sad part is. Yeah, so having read some of the manga, I haven't finished the manga because after the part I was at, supposedly it kind of goes downhill. But immediately afterward, like, the anime ends when they were in the setup period for the Arachnophobia arc. The Arachnophobia arc is just the best fights in the series. Like, every single character gets their best fight against one of these bad guys.
Is that in the show? That's not in the show, right?
Like, they were setting up for this arc, and then the show just ends, because... I made it to episode, I think, 41 out of 50, and it was like right as they were starting up like a 25 chapter arc of badass shit happening.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gets through a little bit of that setup, and then whoop, main bad guy shows up, and now it's over, and everyone hated that.
Yeah, no, it was. I hadn't even had a concept of the manga or anything. Actually, the only reason I know why the manga is so cool is because I watched the ending of Soul Eater, and I was like, I think I was saying this to myself out loud, like yelling as a 15-year-old, just like, what the fuck? Why did you just do that? That doesn't make any sense. What? It's been about friendship the whole time? It's about the friends we made? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It has to be more than that. It just has to be more than that. And it is.
I have a theory. I do think Soul Eater, literally, that anime single-handedly ended the practice of anime original endings for manga adaptations.
It's terrible.
Because it was way more common before that. Like,
Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist, the original, which was Studio Bones as well.
Those bastards.
Fucking Claymore was an infamous example. Like, basically, Studio Madhouse, they reputationally were like, we don't want to do multiple seasons of shows unless it's Hajime no Ippo, which they love making.
What is that?
It's a boxing anime.
Okay, yeah.
But otherwise, like, they usually didn't make more than a certain amount. But, like, after doing enough anime original endings, especially in the 2000s, people just got really fucking sick of that shit. And, you know, not long after Soul Eater ended, Studio Bones relaunched Full Metal Alchemist and just totally redid it to follow the manga all the way through. And not too long after that, they started My Hero Academia, which they've been adapting for like a fucking decade now. So I just think the culture shifted after that to, alright, well, like, we have to follow the manga or else people are going to hate the anime forever. But if we have to take breaks, we take breaks. You know, like, everyone hates filler, because that was the 2000s, was Naruto, Bleach, and One
Dragon
Piece.
Ball Z.
And Dragon Ball Z, adding in filler arcs, or just making it take forever for anything to happen. And now it's like, we have stuff like this where I'm really hoping, because this is only planned to be 12 episodes for now, but, like, it's a fucking Shonen Jump manga. There's no way this is the end. There's no way they didn't plan...
You're talking Mashle?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this show needs... I mean, this show definitely has the legs to go the distance.
Yeah.
I know that it's still ongoing, and it's gotten a lot farther.
There's no way they were adapting this not planning to make more than just 12 episodes of it. Like, at the rate they've been doing it, it feels like Dr. Stone. It's the same type of adaptation of a Shonen Jump manga that, like... It looks really good, but also there's, like, clear places where they're taking...
They just take a lot of time to explain the mechanics they're working with. Just to really explain, like, yeah, you know, MASH doesn't have magic, but in a slightly ridiculous, mostly ridiculous way, this is how he can overcome that with physicality. Which is great. I think it's fun. I'm not against, like, let's all get buff. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
All right. What's the next anime? Wait, not done.
After this Jean-Pierre thing happens, we cut back to the Crown of Thorns person rushing towards MASH, and the group just, you know, having a little victory lap again, and then it ends. Sorry.
All right. Oshi no Ko.
Hey, guess what? It sucks.
We're gonna go through this pretty quick.
This gets a second season, doesn't it?
Probably. I mean, I don't think they've announced it yet. There's still another episode left, but the next one should be
I hope they
last.
don't announce it.
God, they probably will. This whole episode is just Kana hating herself.
Which, you know,
again,
half of the episodes have been that by this point. So that's really fun and enjoyable.
I hate this character. And when I say hate, I mean that the way, you know, hate is a powerful emotion. Many people say it's the opposite side of the coin of love. You only hate someone if they reflect your own negative traits, or if you want to love them but they make it impossible. That's the kind, like, I want to love Kana. She should be great. She's foul-mouthed. She's cynical. She's really cute.
But she really hates herself.
But yeah, her...
And I will say, this is not unrealistic of people.
No,
like,
it's just fucking annoying to watch ad nauseum in the show when it's beating me over the head with the fucking point, and I get it. I don't... Watching her hate herself doesn't make me like her more. It makes me like her less.
Yeah.
And the
just
more
like
you
real
make
life.
me sit through it, the more I don't care that she's going to turn herself around, because I don't want to fucking be around her. She's a downer. I feel the love that the author has for this character. Like, I can really feel...
Look, I'm a big Maddox fan, so that is untrue. That is a joke. But, you know...
I was a big Maddox fan.
Yeah, I know. That's unfortunate for you, isn't it? I, despite not being a Maddox fan, always have him talking about the sunk cost fallacy in my head. Because Maddox loves to talk about fallacies, which is, you know, fucking hilarious for someone who is a walking fallacy. But, like, just this whole show feels like the sunk cost fallacy, especially because I spoiled this show for myself after we watched the first episode, because I was like, I really need to be invested. I can't watch an idol show. You know, Love Live's fine. I've seen some Love Live, and it's okay.
It's not fine.
It's fine. Anyway, when I learned about where this show, or, you know, the whole point of the show, he's trying to find his mom's killer.
Yeah, supposedly.
And I just kind of spoiled the whole thing.
That doesn't come up in this episode at all.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they even talk about at the dinner in the last episode? When he met with the director, they never fucking said anything.
It was like, you know, hey, she was a country bumpkin. She didn't know how to dress. Yeah, they didn't really say anything,
they just
actually.
cut away from the scene and never cut back.
This show, I'm sure we'll get a cut back to it. This show really sucks.
I hate this show.
We're still on the first slide.
Well, this is like already 4 minutes in, because it's literally, it opens with them explaining to her, like, it starts off, they tried to catch her on video while they're saying that she's going to be the lead, and she's like, turn off the camera, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they explain everything that happened in the previous episode.
Which is really fun.
And then Kana argues for like 3 minutes about why she won't be the lead, and then cut to her being the lead.
Yeah, shocker. She's the best singer. She's the best everything. Why the fuck wouldn't she be the lead? I mean,
and then she continues bitching about having to be the lead for about 15 fucking minutes.
And so, hey, Pieon comes back. That's great. Oh my god, I love Pieon. He's such a fun character. I'm so happy he's back to train the idol girls. So Pieon comes back, and he's training the idol girls, and basically what he has them do is I think it's like you have to run up and down a hill 3 times, then perform your set 3 times. Or no, it's just you have to run up a hill and then perform your set 3 times, because the biggest thing as an idol is stamina. And so you have to be able to perform your set even when you're the most exhausted you could possibly be. And Pieon, you know, as usual, is adorable. He's a fun character. We really like him.
Yeah. This is so enraging what happens.
We'll get there. We'll get there. You know, it's not clear at this point what we're coming to, but you did guess it about 5 minutes after this. So Pieon and the girls are like in an apartment together because they're done with their training for the day. The 2 other girls, what's her name? Ruby and Mem? Yeah. Ruby and Mem are just kind of having fun, dancing around, doing whatever. And Kana is sitting out on the balcony being like, they don't know that I had a singing career. And so Pieon comes up to her and basically goes, you don't really like bell peppers, do you? Or they just start, you know, having very similar things in common.
Scene.
And so
Pieon, you remember, big, huge bodybuilder. Now, the way that he's being drawn in this scene, in this moment, in this shot, like, he doesn't look as big as I remember.
Yeah. And
but he does look pretty big, right?
Yeah,
in this shot.
I wouldn't have called it, but anyway.
You wouldn't have thought that was a teenage boy you've been watching for the entire show based on this shot. Is he wearing like a rig or something? Because he can't be, because the remark that Ruby has as she's looking out the window is, you know, I remember Pieon being like a really buff guy, but I guess he's actually just like about the same size as... Look, Kana and Ruby both trained with Pieon. They met him in person. He's fucking huge. He is
He's a fitness YouTuber.
Way larger than Aqua. And yet, neither of them realizes...
Hang on. We'll get there. Real quick. Kana and Pieon are having a real sweet moment, and Kana goes through this whole mind spiral of like, well, maybe I don't need to put all my chips in on Aqua, you know? This guy makes 100 million yen a year, which makes him a real possibility.
She's having total gold digger thoughts about Pieon, because she's like literally just realizing she connects with him. She's like, I should abandon the guy that I like and start flirting with this fucking dude because we have anything in common. Why would you think he's interested in you, bitch? Like, what are you fucking talking about? She's like imagining that she's just got a chance with this guy. She's not even of age. He is supposed to be an adult.
It's a big problem.
Why does she think she can get with this dude? She's so fucking weird.
I mean, how old is she? Because like she
16, 17 at the most.
That's the age of consent in Japan. They just
not
changed
on a
it.
national level. Wait, what? Did they really?
They changed it from 13. Yeah, now it's like 16 or 17.
In most places, it's 18.
I know.
Though.
I'm just I'm
just saying. Look, she just. I hate people who write badly because it's so hard to express to people who are stupid,
so
like who
I'm
just
particularly
don't care.
curious. We had watched Kaguya-sama Love is War at the beginning of our relationship, so I felt it very relatable to me at the time. But having watched this show now, I really want to go back and watch like as many episodes as I can until it starts to bother me. Because I'm sure it will now. I mean, that show is done better than this one, but...
It's funny because I did not like Kaguya-sama when it came out, but when you and I watched it together, I, appreciated the humor a lot more. I just think that show was concentrated and had, like, a clever idea. And this show is just scattershot fucking... It's a person who is obsessed with the industry, who's obsessed with the entertainment industry, who's probably a fan of idols, who's probably a fan of actresses, and who has all these really strong emotional opinions about the way that those people are treated by the industry, by fans of the industry, and he wants the truth to come out. He's like, I want people to understand the actual emotions, the actual situations that these entertainers are going through. And every once in a while, in the process of that, he touches on something real. There's like a little bit of, okay, this is something that people really go through, or here's something that maybe you didn't know about the industry. Maybe there's something that, like, there's just like little glimpses of, okay, I get why you wanted to make this story because you get to tell people about this. But so much of it is just so obnoxiously misunderstanding because this person isn't an actor. They're not a part of the industry. It's all like random tidbits of information that somebody knows and then like their idea of how somebody would feel about that rather than like the reality of how somebody feels about that. It's obnoxious. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. They go to a festival, and there's
the whole episode is building up to this.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole 2 episodes have been building up to this. It's their first performance as idols. And so they're finally here. They immediately break down and are like, what if people think that we're just the stupid idols that are only there because we had industry connections?
Even before that, just like they show up at the venue, and they're explaining the venue. There's a bunch of girls, like, putting on makeup and shit all over the place. And there's, like, a long-winded explanation of what the, like, well, of course, all the minor acts have to share one big dressing room while the major acts get their own rooms and blah, 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 blah. And, like, the way the show's presenting this, again, very sympathetic. Like, performers, it's not always all glamorous. But all I could think was...
You sounded like John Mulaney just now.
All I could think watching the scene is, like, this seems like a pretty decent dressing room. Like, what's the Like, Kana says we're packed in here like sardines. No, you're not. There's not that many people, and the space is fucking huge.
Oh,
they have partitions to change behind. I've been to American concert festivals where they're usually outdoors, where usually, like, the backstage section is, I don't know, they pulled up everybody's vans behind the stage, like, there's not usually, like, a nice, huge, air-conditioned dressing room everybody can hang out in like this. I don't know. It just seemed, to me, it feels like the author got an insight into something and felt like it was less glamorous than their idea of how things are supposed to be, but it's not. The entertainers don't fucking deserve anything extra. They don't deserve life to be glamorous and great because of the fact that they fucking look good. I just think this show is overly sympathetic towards people in the entertainment industry, which is not an industry that, like, deserves to really exist, other than in that, not in the way that it does, I guess I should say. Like, entertainment is great. It does a lot of good things for people, but it doesn't mean that you get to
really bad things for people too.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Pauly Shore?
And it doesn't justify getting to live as like a special person. Or
So here's
under
another
special circumstances.
I'm sorry I had to pee, so I didn't get to say this at the opportune moment. But, like, I was thinking about it, about how she's complaining about, oh, it's so uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah. I think performing music on such a level as they are should be equally as uncomfortable and difficult as it is to show up to shows like that. Because if you've ever been to a concert in your life, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
It's always bad. It's always not fun. Everything's too expensive. It's just not unless you really like the band, not really worth being there.
Right. No.
And I like a lot of bands that I've not gone to concerts with just because, like, I don't want to deal with that.
I've been to tons of concerts, and yeah, like, it's not really worth it unless you really care about something going on. There's a lot of chaos. A lot of bad organization. But organizing a large group of people is just incredibly fucking hard. And, like, any kind of festival pretty much is just benefiting off of the fact that if you put enough big names on a ticket, you can charge basically anything for that ticket because somebody with a lot of money wants to see at least one of those fucking bands. The fun part,
too, is as you get closer to the event, you can keep raising that charge because it's a scarce thing, or it's a scarcity thing. It's so silly.
The bigger the event, the more guaranteed it's going to be shit. Like, almost every festival, one night gets completely canceled because of rain.
If I ever have a music career, I'm only performing at national parks and only for people that are camping there.
Yeah. It'd be fun. Anyway. Yeah, whatever. Kana becomes the center. Literally, this whole episode
cute.
is so fucking obnoxious.
This is a cute
Did
screenshot.
we clarify that Paeon was
Aqua
on
the whole
vacation
time?
and Aqua was just dressed up as Paeon?
And Kana even actually sees this. She
figures it out, and her reaction is like, "Oh shit, that was Aqua." Well, dang. And I'm like, "What the fuck, bitch? You're not even a little bit upset about the fact that you've been duped horribly?"
I'm curious if she thinks that Aqua is just Paeon, because when you first figured it out, you were like, "Wait, is Aqua just Paeon? Is he?"
Which wouldn't have made, like, I had forgotten until they show him again that, like, no, he's twice Aqua's size. The show gaslit me. The show gaslit me into thinking that it was possible because, I mean, you saw the drawing a few frames ago. That's not Aqua's size. He's drawn as being barely bigger than Kana most of the time. So again, was the costume, like, did it have, like, a frame inside it? Like, how built out was this thing? Like, he looked, but again, Ruby explicitly says, "Oh, that looks like Aqua's frame. I didn't realize Paeon was so skinny and small like my brother." And that was what made me go, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, none of them could tell that he's not the same guy? They cut to Paeon and he's fucking huge.
This show sucks.
It's very bad. Very, very bad. This episode, yeah, this is like a 2 or 3 out of 10 episode. This was very bad.
1 out of 10. This show, like, it has just continuously lost me over and over and over again. I don't know if I made it clear, but when I spoiled this show for myself with all of the concepts and where it's going and how it could, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this. This is gonna be really cool, because I thought they were gonna do it a lot fucking faster than they've chosen to do it. And I even get what they're doing. So, like, without spoilers, it is fairly obvious that Aqua is trying to set up the exact same idol group in the exact same circumstances that I was in, so that whoever killed I can come try to kill someone. Kana, I guess.
Great fucking plan, by the way.
Like, it's, and you know, Aqua,
amazing plan.
It's a terrible plan, but Aqua, you know, he has plot armor, and he has plot armor for everyone he cares about, so he's just magically going to be there and show up and save her, or whatever. But with how this show has handled its first season, it's like, you could have gotten halfway through the plot instead of just explaining how idol groups work over and over again. Anyone who's watching an idol show knows how fucking idol groups work. They don't need the intricacies of it explained to them, and I don't need the intricacies explained to me, because I don't care.
No.
This is supposed to be a fucking detective anime, goddammit.
All right, we got 2 more shows, I think, to cover.
Pokemon was great.
Solid fucking Pokemon once again.
I'm so
continuing
glad.
from the last episode.
I think from here on out, it's going to be pretty much just solid Pokemon, and I'm really happy with that.
You know, this show, my hope with it has been that because it is so fucking slow, that, like, it will have the space to really let the characters grow and, like, really expand the world and the lore. And this episode is starting to go in the direction I was hoping, where, like, as I said in the last one, I was so excited that they just introduced a giant fucking Pokemon. No explanation.
Or Oliva?
Something like that.
Anyway,
Oliva.
So Oliva is, she's protecting all the forest Pokemon because the forest is burned down. And so Liko and Roy, or I think it's Liko's idea, basically just goes, oh, we just need to plant another forest.
Yep, let's fix it. As they start working on that, back on the ship...
to Freed and, God damn it, what's his name?
The Rising Voltigers.
Yeah, the Rising Voltigers. But I used to know the other guy, the cooking guy's name.
Basically, they are, like, not able to get in communication.
No one's been able to get any service for quite a while. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? Why don't we have service?
Yeah.
And
Freed flies out, and he's all worried, and they're like, oh, look at him. He's like a parent now.
Did you see a magneton flying above the city?
Yeah, I guess just a magneton was just hanging out, fucking up signals, so Captain Pikachu gives it a big shock, and it goes away.
It goes the fuck away. Like, wow, that's a really strange thing to do really quickly.
This is
but
my
I liked
favorite thing
cute.
in the episode, because, like, my favorite aspect of Pokemon is how, like, the world is constantly affected by the presence of Pokemon. It's like, hey, everything's kind of like our world, but what if Pokemon had something to do with why we came to all these conclusions? And, like,
Magneton's Japanese name is Rare Coil, and
Rare
I
Coil.
remember learning that in the episode and thinking it was really cute.
So Rare Coil, like, again, this scene is essentially pointless. Like, it's basically just to give...
Well, it's just, hey, remember that problem we've been having for 2 episodes? Done.
Yeah. And it's mostly to get Freed to fly out to where the kids are so that he can... I guess to get the Voltekers out there so that they can help with the situation. But, like, just the fact that they had the idea of, like, what if a magneton was jamming the signals, and then they had to deal with that first. Like, that's what brings me back to the feeling of this being more like classic Pokemon. We had kind of a formula for the first, like, 6 episodes, and then the formula got shaken up, and for a few episodes, it just kind of felt like a nothing burger. And then now it's starting to feel like, all right, adventure, action, mystery, like Pokemon causing problems that we have to solve, and, like, how do we fix this forest, and, you know.
So, Liko and
plot.
Liko and Yoha start gathering berries. I think the Chansey is helping too. But anyway, they're gathering berries, and Roy's and Hogator are using Stomping Tantrum to till the ground, and, they go through a whole bunch of work. Eventually, Freed gets in contact with them and finds out what they need, and so he brings the old guy out to the field because there's no water. It's Paldea, and this time of year, I mean, it's 105 degrees with humidity. They're not going to deal. I mean, Paldea's just like Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's what I gotta say. So anyway, they bring the old guy out, and we get to see Quagsire. Oh, I'm so happy.
He brings out a Quagsire, does a rain dance. It's fucking adorable.
I desire the sire. Check out Zamseer if you have not heard of him. Anyway.
Hey, look, everything's fucking fixed. They did it. Basically, if they created the conditions under which trees could grow, then Oliva, I guess, can just instantaneously make those trees grow. So,
which, I guess.
Sure, why not? It's pretty badass. I mean, it is a big Pokemon.
So after all this happens, after Oliva is happy, the turtle necklace comes out and starts interacting with Oliva.
This thing, like, creates a bubble around Liko and Roy.
And then they see a flashback to something.
They have, like, a vision in a pink mist of, like, the ultimate trainer saying something. It's very unclear. Again, this show is going to take its sweet fucking time to unveil anything. But we do learn some interesting lore. Also, here's all the Pokemon being cute. Skiddo's great.
Skiddo.
I don't remember what this thing's called. It's not a Curlia.
No, it's like Curlia Plus. I don't remember either.
Right.
So
Here's the important part. So Liko dad wrote these children books and sends them to the
Roy
ship.
because Roy has such a fanboyness. For
and
these
Roy's
books.
like, what the fuck? This is literally the book I grew up with. And so he's reading it and explaining how basically the story is that there was this legendary hero who had, a team of 6 Pokemon, one of them being the Black Rayquaza, who traveled all over and did all this stuff.
Okay, so hang on. Based off of these Pokemon we're seeing right here, that's obviously Oliva. That's obviously Black Rayquaza. I would guess that's a Rapidash.
This looks like a Latios.
Well, so I was going to say, these two look like Latios and Latias, so that has to be what they are.
I think this one might be Moltres.
Oh,
I think it could be like a Latios,
Moltres, maybe a Golem.
They might all be legendary of some...
Well, but Oliva's not legendary. I think that's got to be a Rapidash. No, because that would be a... It could be a Lapras, but it's not watercolors. It's like... It's got to be a ground type or something.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they probably are the colors of the type they are.
Anyway, I'm curious to see what the other 5 Pokemon are. I think it's fun that this season of Pokemon is really making sure that the show feels a lot like the games, in that you have to do the gym leader challenges before challenging the gym leader. And this is very reminiscent of, in Scarlet and Violet, the Titan Pokemon. And, it's different circumstances, different stuff going on. But I also happen to know that the Scarlet and Violet DLC is about to come out, where the turtle Pokemon that Liko's amulet keeps turning into is a Pokemon you can catch. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Oh, and we should clarify that, because in the last episode when Oliva was established, it has an ancient ball on its neck.
Yeah.
After they help it, it, puts itself in the ancient ball and gives itself to them, but they can't open it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, hey, we got God in our pocket, but it only comes out when it wants to, But
it's not even God. It's like Oliva's a grass
really
normal type. It's just big.
Pokemon. I mean, yeah, and contextually, the fact that we saw it literally raise a forest in seconds. It is a super Oliva at the very least. So this is Liko's mom,
who we've seen earlier in the Chatot. This parrot's name is Chatot, I think.
Yeah.
No,
that's not Chatot. That's a different guy. Basically, Liko's mom, it's heavily implied that she was the one who sort of trained...
Squawkabilly. His name is Squawkabilly. I knew it was something cool.
Liko's mom seemingly was the one who taught Freed, and because he refers to her as sensei or something like that, and she is just really interested in where this whole story that her daughter's embarked on is going to take her. I don't know why she doesn't interact with Liko when she's in town.
She explains why. She doesn't want to be a mom too much and force Liko to have to.
She's fucking 12.
No, exactly. When this scene went on, I was like, well, it's very clear who the responsible parent is, which is the dad. That's not clear. But it's like,
no, she's too busy being a badass and crossing her arms.
We don't even know what she's doing, also. She implies, because Freed and her meet in a public place earlier in the episode, and she implies that it's a library, actually. It's literally a library. She implies that it's something dangerous. I don't know why.
So I guess she's trying to protect Liko by not involving her in whatever she's doing, maybe?
She is, though. She has the amulet. Liko's mom goes, I was going to take that amulet back from her. But I'd rather just see what she does with it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's see her do it.
My sister in Christ, there are literal terrorists after your daughter right now.
I think she was just shocked that the amulet was having a reaction, and so she's like, okay, well, I guess that she does need to have it.
Yeah, and so, this all kind of ties in with the scene that's overlapping over this, which is Roy and Liko calling Liko's dad and going like, hey, are those stories real? And he just went, I mean, a little bit, but they're mostly embellished. Yeah. And it's like, oh, so it's the grandma, right? This is the grandma?
So Nicholas Carr asks, is this show somehow related to the original Pokemon? I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. I had thought it might be, but now they've pretty much dispelled that entirely.
Yeah, the legendary hero, because it was implied at some point, in the book, the legendary hero is a guy. It's implied that it's a guy. But everything the show has said so far and shown has heavily implied that it's Liko's grandma. It seems really obvious, and in this episode it's made explicit that the dad embellished the story based on stuff that the grandma had told him. So, like, yeah, it's definitely her. Like, he just invented a guy version of her to be the story so that it would be different enough from reality, I guess. But the kids have not figured this out yet. So yeah.
And they won't for 50 episodes.
No, probably not. But they are going to meet the grandma. For whatever reason, the Rising Volteckers...
Why haven't we done this yet?
They literally just say to Liko, like, hey, we got you back home. We did our mission. But now you're with us. What do you think we should do?
They go to
next?
Galar, because her grandma's in, like, some castle or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you've played the Sword and Shield games, you know the map fucking sucks. But also, you know that it's very heavily themed on, like, medieval Britain.
Yeah.
Honestly, seriously, though, sorry, quick tangent. Sword and Shield is a lot of fun as a story, as a game, and everything. But the idea of the fucking wild areas they did... I would be fine with that if the map itself was as entertaining as the wild areas, but, like, I don't want to... I try to complete the Pokédex in every game I've ever played, and I fail every single time. I've never done it. I never will, probably. But, like... And this does carry into Scarlet and Violet in a less offensive way to me. But in Sword and Shield, it's like, literally, there are 2 big areas that's where you catch all of the Pokemon. And you have to hit certain areas of those big areas... at certain times of the day, in certain weather conditions, to catch some Pokemon. It's like, no. Just make it a little easier. Like, the Gimmighoul thing in Scarlet and Violet, where you just have to, like, collect, I think it's like 1,000 Gimmighoul coins or something, to evolve him into Golden Go. That is offensive to me. I get it. Whatever. People are really going to play the game. Plenty of people got Golden Go, like, a day after the game came out. But, like... Give me an easier path, I guess. I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence about a game, but it's literally a children's game.
The funniest thing about this Pokemon anime is that I think this is literally the only show we're covering right now that will still be going next season.
I'm happy, you know?
I'm happy it's gotten better, for sure. And it's
Is this the last
easy
episode of Pokemon, or do we have another one?
The last screenshot, you mean? This is the last screenshot.
The last episode. Like, is this the last one for the season, or do we get another one after this?
What I'm saying is that it's not going to stop. It just goes.
Oh, so
there's been a new Pokemon episode every week for fucking 25 years
So there's a potential that there's a week of this podcast that we only talk about Pokemon.
No, because the new shows will start up.
Okay.
So
I don't know how anime works.
The next episode we do will be on the, well, let's see, what day? Today's the 25th.
Ellen Horizon responded in terms of the Gimmighoul thing. Spiritomb be like, and like, yeah, no, I didn't catch Spiritomb either. That's fucking, it's just a fucking pain in the ass.
So, considering that we originally had 11 shows for this season.
We're still deciding what we're going to cover next season.
So far, 5 of the shows have ended. So that means that next week we will have 6 remaining shows. I don't think any new anime will have started by next Saturday, which is the 1st.
What if
Kamikatsu, because it got pushed back so many times, will still be going the week after that.
Oh, fuck, right. You're right. I forgot that
Kamikatsu got skipped again.
I fucking hate twice in a season. Stop making the show. Just stop making the show.
We haven't even missed 2 episodes of this show this season, and this isn't even our main job. It's a little sad to see how much of all these anime have been disrupted this season. But yeah, Kamikatsu is going to run long enough that we will be talking about its last episode alongside a bunch of first episodes from the upcoming season, as well as the latest Pokemon that will have come out that week. But everything else should be ending next week, I think, unless anything else gets skipped. But Oshi no Ko, Hell's Paradise, fucking Mashle, is that it? What else? Oh, Dead Mount Deathplay. All of those will be ending their current season. And then, yeah, we haven't really figured out exactly what we're covering next season. I'm kind of thinking that there might not be enough new shows that are both popular and that we want to talk about.
So let me put it this way.
So we might end up watching something old and just, like, throw it in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to happen. But we went through a lot of the shows that are going to be airing next season. And while a lot of them are not popular currently, I think as soon as those shows come out, we will be able to tell how popular exactly they are. Because there are plenty of shows that I want to at least give a shot to. And, you know, one episode's fine. We'll do that. And if I hate it, I will explain why I hate it.
Yeah.
And we will not cover it because Oshi no Ko was a mistake. But if I hate it so much, like Oshi no Ko, it might not be a mistake to cover it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we looked through all of them. There's plenty of stuff that's, like, cute. I think most of it that I saw was, like, cute or interesting. There's one show, I can't remember what it's called, but it's, like, the Master Baker or Master Pastry Man or whatever.
Genius of Pastries.
I would really like to watch that because it gave me Wakako Kozake vibes. It's probably going to be more competitive, closer to Food Wars if I had to guess, but, you know, there is a lot of stuff that I am interested in watching next season because I don't necessarily want to just revert back to old stuff except for bonus episodes, honestly. But I think it would be interesting, even if they're not necessarily popular, to cover them so that maybe they become popular. Yeah. Anyway, Skip and Loafer, this is the last episode of the show. I really want there to be a second season to the show. I need more Skip and Loafer. I can't rewatch this same arc over and over again, and I need the spiritual healing this show gives me.
It's so
because we didn't.
Nice.
So actually, to compare this show to Dangers in My Heart, which we've kind of been doing the whole season, and I've been doing in my head because it's the only slice of life anime I've ever seen, and they are somewhat similar. We didn't get really any, I will say, romantical development on Skip and Loafer's part. Yeah. It's kind of just they emotionally respect each other.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the state of them being... None of the characters in this show have really entered a relationship.
Yeah.
There are, like, three or four suggested ones.
Well, yeah, this episode leaves you with, like, the vice president and the president, like, oh, yeah, of course they would date. Why didn't I think about that?
You've got the lesbian girls, and you've got Skip and Loafer themselves. All of them are already... like they have better chemistry and are more interesting to me than most anime couples are. Like I don't really care if any of them explicitly hooks up, and I feel very differently now. Like a lot of anime, I have gotten mad at the characters for not fucking.
This show is really
just
good.
Fucking stick it in. These characters don't need to fuck. Like they have great healthy relationships there's no like obsessiveness. Yeah. There's no like, oh my god, I wish we were together. I wish he was holding me in my arms. They're just like, no, they're all really good to each other, you know.
The show is really good at portraying chemistry in a healthy way. Yeah. And I appreciate that a lot. Especially as we kind of like grow to have relationships with more people. It's really nice to just like, oh right, I never had, like, regular friends in high school. I just kind of was like, oh, hey, I've been sitting here reading a newspaper before school for an hour, and you've decided to come up and talk to me for some reason, even though I'm reading a newspaper. A fun fact about me, every day for, like, 2 years in high school, I would literally go get a coffee from Starbucks. It was a cold brew, no ice, no water, so it's just literally straight cold brew. It was multiple times referred to me as rocket fuel by the employees working at Starbucks, and I've tried to order it recently. You can't get it anymore. But I would also buy a newspaper. I didn't really care. It was just kind of fun to read. I would do crosswords sometimes. But it was mostly a social deflection mechanism to just, like... If, you know, and it was a full-size newspaper, so, you know, you get it in quarters, and you unfold it, and it covers your entire body. I was also wearing sunglasses, I was also wearing headphones. I could not have given off more, please don't speak to me right now, I'm at school, and also I happen to be stoned most of the time. So I really wasn't trying to talk to people and let on that I was stoned. Because I had to take the train to school, and I had to longboard to the train. And so I would usually leave the house with enough time to smoke a joint on the way to school. Now, that all being said, do not smoke weed if you are not of legal age in wherever the hell you are. Anyway, so I was just putting off so many don't talk to me flags, and like, they just kept coming up to me, and I guess fucking holding newspapers strange or whatever, but very much not the goal. I was just trying to kill time before I had to want to kill myself in high school. And, you know, looking back on it, I could have just been doing homework or something at that point that I wasn't doing, but I have a moral stance against homework, and it's a specifically me thing, because I do know that homework...
Me too.
Sure. I do know that homework helps some people because it did seem to help both of my brothers, but for me it was just like, we spent an hour today learning how to do this, and you're having me do it again for realistically 2 hours? No, thank you. No, I got it. I understood it. Anyway, sorry, I've kind of been ranting about my school life.
Yeah, Skip and Loafer, you know, we left off on this fucking bitch who has been ruining Loafer's life, showing up at the school and confronting his mom.
She bullies his mom.
She bullies her out of the school.
It's so depressing. This bitch sucks.
She's
I really
the
don't
worst.
like her. And so when I said I don't want to have to watch this arc of Skip and Loafer again,
yeah,
I would be fine with pretty much everything we've seen, except for this. This bitch sucks so much.
Okay, you say that, but that's what makes this episode so great.
I agree.
This episode way better than the rape revenge in Heavenly Delusion. This has one of the most satisfying comeuppances I have seen.
Well, because
in recent
Skip
memory.
doesn't even have to punch her.
No, so
Loafer.
This woman, she scares off Loafer's mom by saying like, "Oh, you're making your son act again,"
and she didn't even know he was acting.
Yeah, no, she had no idea. So she shows up. She's kind of bullying Loafer. Skip figures this out pretty quickly.
And then just, like, comes in and does a cute little
herself.
pose. And then it cuts to, she is imitating an aardvark in their science textbook.
Yeah.
Because that is how aardvarks make themselves look scary. The face Skip is making, right? I mean, Skip is...
The way this scene plays out is the cutest shit I've ever seen. The girl comes in, she's being kind of mean. Skip kind of picks up on it, jumps in front, and then kind of says, like, you know, you should really get in line, because you'll regret it if you have to stand in the line.
Which is great, because Skip wasn't being a fucking asshole to her.
Yeah, no, she's acting like she's just
actually
being nice.
diffusing the situation.
And Loafer just bursts out laughing because he realizes that she's doing the aardvark pose.
Thing.
And like the other girl not understanding why he's laughing and just feeling kind of left out by like the connection the two of them are expressing, feels like just totally put out. And then like she tries to tell the friend, because she showed up with the mutual friend of her and Loafer, and she's like, well, come on, we better get in line. And he's like, actually, I kind of wanted to talk to him. And he's like, she's fine, I'll go in line myself. And it's just like she's gotten so flustered because she lost so hard.
I have to imagine, I haven't read...
It doesn't understand why she lost.
I haven't read a lot of spoilers for the show or where the manga goes or anything, but I have to imagine, like, based on how this episode ends, is her name Ririka? Is that what it is? Whatever. Red-haired girl has to end up with Skip's fat friend, like, as a potential dating couple, because Skip's fat friend is clearly just into her.
Well, and he actually cares about her.
Yeah.
And Loafer, and, like, yeah, you get the sense that, you know, if she wasn't just,
obsessed with Loafer.
Yeah, and, like, just kind of dismissing him out of hand for not being, like, a sexy... Like, she obviously wants to be, like, well, I'm a sexy, cool person.
No, she's got the
so
same
I have
problem
to
as
be
the
with
other
the sexy,
red-haired
cool
girl.
person. Yeah, exactly.
You know, red-haired girls are a real problem. I don't know if you have any experience with that, but...
This scene, so good. This is why, like, okay, this show needs more episodes. I raised my score to a 9 because even though I don't think the story really goes very far, everything I've seen I loved so much. Like, this show has the potential to be a literal 10 out of 10 if it went long enough and was still this good. There's a lot of drama that it could get into, and even then, I don't think this show's ever going to go for, like, even Sangatsu no Lion level of, like, oh my god, my emotions, what are you doing to me? Like, it's trying to be healing, it's trying to be nice. It's just a little bit deeper than your average slice of life anime. A little bit more human, a little bit more robust emotionally. And, you know, for a while now, we've had this woman who's just been emotionally manipulating Loafer to make him feel bad about some shit that happened to them when they were kids. She bullied his mom. She, you know, has been bullying him. And finally, he just realizes, you know, I don't want to be a part of this fucking shit. And he says to her, like, I don't want to be in the self-destructive spiral you've put yourself in anymore. And she's like, well, it just sounds to me like you're just asking to be forgiven and do whatever you want. He's like, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's literally it.
Fuck it. Yeah, like, I mean
it's just so great.
If you're going to hold me to this forever, get the fuck out of my life.
This woman just literally keeps going like, oh, so you feel this way? He goes, yeah. Yeah, yep.
And she's like, you're a narcissist, just like your mom.
And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you say, bitch. You sound like you're projecting real hard with this narcissism thing. So yeah, she finally is just like, whatever, do whatever you want.
And she fucks off. Thank
God.
God.
Cut to bawling in the car. I
know, this was
my
great.
shit. I was just, cry, bitch, cry, you stupid fucking bitch, you dumb bitch, cry.
But, so she's crying, just basically going like, I feel like whenever I'm around him, he just doesn't even pay attention to me. And it's like, bitch, all we've seen of you is you being the worst human being possible to him. And we know that's not all of her as a character,
She totally admits, like, I've been a cunt all this time. Obviously, I don't want to be this way. I just don't know how to keep him in my life. Lose him.
Yeah, don't have him in your life.
Lose him. This was the most oddly satisfying scene of a character just getting, like I don't know. It's cute. It's still cute. Like, it doesn't abandon being cute.
This actually kind of redeemed the character for me. Is like, oh, she's actually a person.
Yes,
she's
made her human.
Yeah. It's fine. It's cute. I hope Fat Guy gets with her.
Cry, bitch, cry.
And then
so
we cut to the vice president and the president having a very cute moment of, just kind of explaining how they are.
There's a great moment where he just starts explaining his backstory, and she's like, inwardly, I did not ask. Like, that
was really funny.
She really thinks she hates this guy, even though she is developing a begrudging respect for him. And in this scene, it's very clear that he respects her, and like he almost feels bad about taking the position of president, but is like, look, you just gotta accept that I'm a natural at this, like. He's such an arrogant asshole. It's understandable why she doesn't want to like him, but they have a weird chemistry, and like they are both really good people, so it would be a fun relationship to watch develop. Oh wait, I skipped. Yeah, there's him saying, "Turns out I was way more popular than you, huh?" So and he can't help but make her.
He's
upset.
got stars around him, so it's very clearly from a place of innocence.
Yeah,
he's not trying to be an asshole.
Most of the end of this episode is just kind of
wrapping it up.
Hey, we're all still friends. We're all still hanging out. Life goes on. Nothing really. I mean.
Oh, buddy. Oh, bada. Oh, bada. Yeah. Life goes on.
It's a weird feeling of like we did conclude the most dramatic thing that had been set up this season was that girl bullying Loafer, and that is pretty much resolved now. Obviously, there's lots of places the story can go, but it does feel weirdly wrapped up. Like, there's not like a big lingering mystery. It just feels like there's a lot more that, like, I don't know, I could watch these fucking characters for a long time. I know the manga's not done, so, like,
I want to see more of the show. I
want it animated. Like, I want it to still be animated.
No, and that's the other thing, too, is, like, I'd kind of discussed this with you when we were watching it, is, I'm sure the manga is cute, but the anime it just seems so much better. It's such a better medium.
It's just that it's so good. Like, it's rare. There's certain people who always prefer manga, because they're like, most of the artistic expression is there, and I can consume it faster. I like anime more because when it's done right, it is so much more engrossing. Where like it pulls me away from myself to some extent. Where like even though I often think about the anime that I'm watching, like if I'm reading manga, it's so much more easy to get distracted because it's not a sound environment. You have to either listen to your own music or just listen to whatever sounds are naturally occurring in your environment, or maybe like read the character voices in your head and like try to create your own like sound, from the sound effects and everything. It's just not nearly as immersive as when an anime does pull you in with like amazing color design, amazing shot compositions and directing and timing and voice acting and music, and this show has all of that. Everything it does well.
This show,
It just needs
It's
more
gotta
episodes
be my favorite
to
this
really
season.
sink in. It's
I
definitely my
think,
favorite. This is my number 1, Heavenly Delusion number 2.
Well, let me say, it depends on how Heavenly Delusion's last episode carries itself. Because
You mean Hell's Paradise?
I do, I'm sorry. But that Heavenly Delusion is also a contender. Hell's Paradise, Heavenly Delusion, Skip and Loafer, probably my top 3.
Same.
I feel bad comparing Skip and Loafer to the other two, just because they are so different. They're different genres. They're like, if it was easier to talk about anime without people being really silly about it, this would be my number 1 for like slice of life. I mean, it is my number 1 for slice of life that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is an exceptional slice of life anime.
No slice of life anime has ever caught me to the point where I've watched more than 2 episodes of it.
Except for Bocchi the Rock, because we had to do it for a bonus episode.
It doesn't feel like slice of life to me.
Really?
I mean, I know it literally is, but it's like, no, I'm because Bocchi, while she is such a weird schizo mess, is like, and also most of the other bandmates too. They're like, no, we're going to be famous. Right. No, this is our goal in life. This is exactly what we want to be doing.
I guess
it's more of like a career thing.
I think Skip is determined to become.
Is Devil is a part-timer slice of life?
I would say so.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Slice of life in high school. Then.
That one's more. So the line gets blurry with slice of life comedy, where like.
Also, that is one show we're definitely going to be covering next season. I'm so excited. Devil's a Part-Timer season 2. I can't believe it only took a season after I got back into watching anime for that to come out, because it was one of the first anime I watched.
Yeah, it's fascinating that that's about to happen after fucking more than 10 years.
I don't want to watch 4 seasons of anime, but Bungo Stray Dogs season 5 is coming out too, and I might do that on my free time just to catch up and tweet about it or something. I don't know.
You can do Jujutsu Kaisen on your free time if you feel like it too. Because I don't want to watch that.
I do feel like doing that. No, I like Jujutsu Kaisen. You know, it's not as bad as Demon Slayer.
I don't want to watch or talk about it personally. I want us to do less shonen. Mashle and Dr. Stone are really fun, and I like.
If I watch Jujutsu Kaisen, do we get to have like a bird's Jujutsu Kaisen corner?
Sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah! All right. Cool.
But yeah, this show is great. It was probably my favorite this season. Next week, Hell's Paradise will be the last like really great thing that we're wrapping up. But otherwise, so let's see.
Do we do it?
Mount Deathplay has another episode. Heavenly Delusion's over. Hell's Paradise is another one. It'll
Magical Destroyers is over. Mashle has another one. Oshinoko has another one.
Yeah.
It only got 11. Weird.
And Pokemon will still keep going.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but because remember, Oshinoko had like a 4-episode first episode.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow,
yeah,
man.
We watched anime.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Let us know what you think we should do. Like, if there's an anime you think we should cover next season, let us know. If there's an older anime you think we should
just to let everyone know, aside from the older anime thing, we are definitely going to be covering I Got Reincarnated as a Vending Machine.
Yes, I want to do the Vending Machine show. I will probably do Mushoku Tensei because it's really popular with my audience, but we have to catch up on it. And we will probably cover the zombie, like 100 zombie whatever thing, because that's like the most popular original or new anime coming out. It's mostly fucking sequels next season, and I don't want to have to catch up on a bunch of shit that's not going to be that popular anyways. So unless you guys are like really adamant that we need to check out certain shows, I'm not trying to cover a ton of anime next season. If we only end up with like 5 shows to cover, I will just fill us in with like 3 or 4 slots of older anime that I know people want us to talk about, like a Revolutionary Girl Utena or something, which I really want you to see.
See, I like where you're coming from, but I also like people paying us money to watch those shows.
See, the problem is that Revolutionary Girl Utena is 39 episodes long. It would have to win a poll 3 months in a row, and it would take up so much of our bonus episodes.
So
there's tons and tons of 12 and 13 episode shows that people are definitely going to keep paying us to do for bonus.
Then that's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
My question is, we're kind of nearing the end of what I would consider the first season of We Watch Anime.
There's 1 episode left in this season. So this is the penultimate episode of the spring season.
I'm just gonna toss up a question for you to think about. You don't have to really answer it right now, because next season or next week is really going to be the ending. But like, How do you feel about the first season of We Watch Anime? What would you change? What have we done well? What have we done bad?
We should really address that in the
next episode. I'm just throwing it out there so you
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
And
let
so
us
that
know,
you, viewers...
audience, let us know how you have felt about this first season of We Watch Anime. Less so, like, which episodes were good and bad. We understand. We were tired some nights. We hated anime some nights. We loved anime.
Well, that's not a
some
negative.
nights.
Anime sucks sometimes.
It does. We just want to know, like, overall, what did you think? What could be different? Yes, we know we eat into the mic a little too often.
You can say me. It's not you.
I ate a whole pizza tonight. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. Hey, whoever's editing this, can you just, like, make those sounds obnoxiously loud? Because I got one complaint about eating once, and I'd
And
really...
now you want to eat as loud as possible forever.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this has been a really fun episode. I mean, the last
was
episode...
good. This was 3 hours and about 8 episodes of anime, so it must have been pretty alright.
When it's good, we have a lot to say. When it's bad, we have sometimes a lot to say, but usually less to say.
Next week, we only have 5 shows to cover, unless... And I don't think any new shows are going to be out by next week. So.
Look, next week, I'm so happy that we get to have a relatively relaxed, workload in terms of this.
Our bonus episode might even be able to come out by then.
I mean, I think we could if we do it right, we could probably record it right before or right after we do.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
No
we'll find out. No
announcements.
promises, no nothing. Hey, give us money. Have I mentioned that? We like money. If you
Backed
want
by
us to,
Patreon.
if you want us to do this more, if you really like what we're doing here, money. Backed by /
Let me quit my physical labor job.
That is not our link on Backed by. Can you
backed by / we - watch - anime.
And yeah,
and
Patreon.
patreon.com / goldenwitchfire.
All right, we've watched anime.
Anime
We've
forever.
talked about anime forever.
Anime forever.
We love you all.
Anime forever.